I was gonna say maybe you should put your stank face on, but I don't know if you'll be able to like hold it for very long once we look at each other.
Probably not, but I'll try.
Just act like you like made Malcolm cry and you don't care.
Made all my students, my PhD students, my grads, undergrads, made them all cry.
Are we counting or just gonna do it?
Countdown.
Okay.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello?
We're two rats that came together because of one man.
Adam, designated driver, baby. The rats need to be fed on schedule or they'll get sick.
Shelley and I will be discussing The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. You are listening to Great Driver.
I'm Dr. Carlsen.
The hair is what is getting me. The hair is so perfect. Oh my god, did Dr. Carlsen just shimmy at me?
I did.
Her forehead isn't this big. Let's scoot this down a little bit. There we go.
Oh my god, you look so cute!
My little...
Yes! Aww, that's so olive.
Look how normal I look. And I put my freckles on.
You look so cute, oh my god.
This is the sweetest coffee you've ever seen in your life.
And I have just a tiny bit of creamer, but I'm not telling.
No, I ordered you chamomile.
Yep, and I drained it.
He drained it.
I'd rather not drink that. I don't need to vomit all over my desk today.
Well, Mr. Grumpy Pants. I started being a little more self-conscious about my septum because, like, I'll take pictures and people will be like, it's crooked. And I'm like, okay, but, I mean, I'm not looking at that when I'm taking my picture.
You look so cute. Oh my god, I love this look.
It is giving Daisy, though. Like, I bronzed a little bit. I did some natural blushing, you know, and then this hair color. It's a little dark, but...
I like it.
Okay, so, you guys, if it's not obvious who we are, we're motherfucking doctors.
Well, I'm a doctor. You're soon-to-be doctor.
Yes, well, you know, I'm just trying to get used to the title so that once I am a doctor, I'm not going to be like, I'm a doctor? Yeah.
And when I put a ring on it, there'll be 2 Dr. Carlsons.
Nice. So I'm Olive Smith. I'm Canadian, don't you know? And, and this is my professor crush, Adam Carlsen.
Dr. Adam Carlsen. Thank you very much.
I'm so sorry, Dr. Carlsen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I feel like it's like Captain Jack is like, and this is Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack Sparrow. It's like doctor.
Literally. Maybe it's just because I know you as Adam, so calling you Dr. Carlsen is now, you know.
Strange.
Yes.
A black Henley. Just for this.
And, you know, we've seen Adam Driver in Henley's before, in that shaped shirt, and I wonder if that's what inspired her. She's like, damn,
Definitely.
I love him in a Henley. I'm gonna put him in a Henley only in this damn book besides a white coat.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure she did. Like, oh, he wears those a lot. I like it. Do we have news on Adam Driver? Not Carlsen.
Just... She said, we do. So it was recently announced that Adam's going to be premiering on an Apple TV show with Jessica Chastain called The Dealer.
Mm-hmm.
I got so excited. I cried. I was ordering food and the person who was like taking my order, I like pulled out my phone to pay and I looked at Instagram and I immediately started to tear up and they were like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Adam Driver, there's some news that came out about him. And they're like, of course, they think like he's hurt or he's, you know, injured because I'm crying. Yeah. And I'm like, no, he's fine. He's going to be in a TV show. And I never thought I'd see him in a TV show again. Because he literally hasn't done TV since Girls besides like the few cameos of like Bob's Burgers. You know what I mean? Like...
Well, I mean, he did say one time TV is evil. So, which is why he didn't want to do Girls for a long time. And then his agent was like, just go to the fucking audition. Thank you for that.
Well, we know what brings Adam in. It's the writing, it's the director. Of course, I'm not versed in the names of the people that are involved. I think it said Hanath or Nath. I don't know how to say it. And then the director is Gold. I don't know the full name based on the little, you know, snippet that I read. but he must have been impressed by somebody, whether it was their previous work or the writing, because that's what draws him in. So that also makes sense why Jessica Chastain kind of showed up for Hold On to Me, Darling, because they must have already been working together, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes me wonder if anything's filmed yet or if they have only done like pre-production.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, probably maybe a table read or something, because it's the industry. Everybody knows everybody somehow.
That's true, but they haven't worked together yet, so that's why I was thinking like, let me see.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in pre-production. Dang it! Okay. So yeah. So the thing that's definitely coming out this year is The Father, Mother, Sister, Brother. That says it's in post-production 2025. And then The Dealer, Paper Tiger. Apparently he's rumored to be in Heat 2. And then and then in development says The Carnival at the End of Days.
Oh, because you said, he's gonna be in Heat too, and I was like, I'm gonna be in Heat.
Girl, I've been in Heat. I don't know when it's gonna be over. I've been fertile. So what it's about is Jessica Chastain plays an art dealer, basically, and Adam plays a artiste who's they called him unnerving.
Yeah.
So he's probably a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he gets to be grumpy. Yes. Oh, it's my favorite.
When is he not grumpy?
I love when he looks pissed off and then you talk to him and he's like, "Hey, what's up?"
He's just like, "Hey guys."
And then I guess they're going to have some sort of relationship. The article called it a tangled relationship. Relationship. So I'm thinking like, oh my god, we get more. It's been a minute since we got some steam. If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm already blushing. I'm very excited. It's gonna be so good. Woo! Okay, I want to know so bad. Like, is he gonna have like facial hair? Is he gonna be clean shaven? Is his hair gonna be like Marriage Story length? Is he gonna have it a little longer? I need to know.
I really miss his long hair, like his longer hair. Like he always has long hair, but like that Clyde Logan long hair.
Yes. And I know he probably won't ever do it unless he's in another like period piece, but that really long hair.
Yeah. Jacques Legris.
Yes.
It worked.
Do you remember those pictures that came out when he was covering his face with like
yeah.
And his hair was so long. Those massive hands just like
that photo. That was another thing that kind of broke the internet, the Adam side of the internet. Dude, rats went ballistic.
Because his eyes say everything. We didn't have to see anything else. All we saw was those eyes, just that dark stare.
Yeah, that was medieval Kylo. Nobody can tell me otherwise. It was beautiful. Oh, that man.
Those eyes said, "Come, come. If you run, I will only chase you."
Mm-hmm.
And then I accidentally make myself, not accidentally, but make myself trip and fall. Oh, no. Oh,
I fallen and I can't get up.
Seems like only a muscular man can lift me. Like yourself. Oh, no.
Yeah, slow motion, like those Bollywood movies, like the really bad Bollywood movies where they're slow motion, like, oh no.
It's like Pepe Le Pew, but like reversed.
Yeah.
He's the attractive one, and I'm the Pepe, just like, oh, hello.
I like that.
So there isn't really any extra news going on right now with Adam, but that's okay, because more is coming. Also, guys, Cannes is slowly approaching.
Oh, yes. Cannes season.
I can see it now. I'm like he's picking out his tuxie-poo. I'm ready. He's like, Adam's like, I'm ready for my escargot and my croissants and my
croissants
and my mandolin cookies. No, he probably don't eat those.
Gonna need that gut support.
Gut support. I thought with this episode it'd be really appropriate to talk about this. It's been a very hot topic in the Adam Driver fandom. So I know you're like, what is she about to talk about?
Yeah, I was like, where are you going?
So with is it HBO doing Harry Potter?
Okay. Yeah. I know exactly what you're going to say. Okay.
Before we get into what I think we're going to get into, I would like to ask, Do you agree with the casting of Snape, regardless of Adam? Because they made him into like an African American man, which
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll
I
let you
mean,
go.
I
Yeah.
don't mind the quote unquote race switch. It's just not gonna look good if the only black kid in the school or in that group is gonna get bullied. Because think about it, Snape, he's always an outcast, he's always treated badly. Like, come on, you can't do that. That's gonna look so bad. And I mean, I wonder how they're gonna make, what's his name again? The actor that they chose, that they cast?
I don't know, girl. Okay, I really don't want to butcher a name. I don't like butchering names, but Papa Essiedu, P-A-A-P-A, first name.
Yeah.
Last name is E-S-S-I-E-D-U.
Okay. That gorgeous man.
Oh, he's beautiful, for sure. He looks great with and without a beard.
Yeah. But the thing is, Snape is supposed to look a little edgy, a little grumpy, grungy, sort of. We all know Adam is born. He was born for a young Snape. Like, everybody, even people that aren't rats, you know, or aren't huge fans of Adams or whatever, they all have the same opinion. He would fit the role so perfectly. But back to Papa Essiedu.
Yes.
It's just not gonna look good for the series if they're gonna pick on and bully and outcast the only black kid in the group, you know? And like, think of backstory. Think of Snape's backstory. It's not gonna go over well, you know? And I wonder how they're gonna make him, not just like makeup wise and style wise or whatever, how they're gonna transform him to come even close to looking like Snape in the books, you know, regardless of skin color.
I swear if they put just a regular ass Snape wig on him, I might laugh.
But yeah, that's not gonna...
It's not gonna work.
Because he's supposed to have like really greasy black hair, you know, long strands, and I don't know how they're gonna make that look, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm happy for the guy that they cast, you know, because it's a big role for him. You know, that's probably going to push his career up the ladder. I just don't know how fans are going to feel and how that's... Yeah, I don't know.
I think the thing for me is that there's a very, like you said, there's a very specific description of Snape. He's pale, greasy, big nose, awkward. Just like the weird kid in the corner, right? I remember when the musical had come out for Harry Potter, the something child.
The Cursed Child, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Cursed Child. They made Hermione black. And the explanation that they gave was that they never really mentioned skin color for Hermione. They mentioned her hair texture. They mentioned a lot of other like specific things, but not her skin color. So her being racially ambiguous is fine.
Yeah, totally.
So the fact that Snape's description is so specific, and this has nothing to do with JK being possibly racist, definitely transphobic, all of those awful things, the way she has written her book, regardless. I'm just saying from the text, the way the character was written, it was very specific about how he looked. So to go outside of that, for that reason, to me, is like, I don't have any issue with any races being changed. It's just his is so specific. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like they could have totally pulled off a race switch for Dumbledore. That would have been awesome. That would have been fucking awesome, man. Could you imagine, like, Idris Elba as Dumbledore?
He'd be like, Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
In the books, Harry. Yeah. Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? And in the movies, Harry, did you put your name in it?
Like, was this the same book?
Yeah. Did you read the same thing I read? Or we got different copies?
Because Dumbledore doesn't, like, yell at students like that. He's very just calm and... So, of course, we wanted Adam to do it, and he, like you said, he's perfect for it. His voice, the fact that he's, you know, unconventionally attractive, just like Alan Rickman was, and why it worked. Can you imagine Adam saying, "Turn to page 394"? I'll have to start fucking with some AI. Put some Alan Rickman quotes in an Adam Driver filter.
Obviously. I know.
Always.
Oh, that was so good. Oh, no! Oh, that moment right there, okay, now I'm kind of glad that he's not doing it, because that would break me too. Just another role for Adam, just losing everything and the love of his life. Oh my god, no.
Can you imagine, like, the scene that he finds Lily?
And he'd be holding her like Kylo held Rey, or Ben held Rey.
And then just like sobbing. Because you know when Adam cries, he cries.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Alan was like crying, but it was just like I feel like Adam would be like, face would be drenched wet with tears. Like, he would be like, yeah. Yeah.
Very, very authentically, crying. In a moment like that, something as traumatizing and
the woman you loved is dead in your arms. Like, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
He would have been absolutely perfect, but I'm still happy for Papa Suedu for having gotten the role. I'm sorry for butchering that. But I'm still happy that he gets, a chance in the industry. So there's something good for that. But I just really hope that, because fans can be so mean, especially such committed fans, especially for Harry Potter. They're like forever, since the 90s. People have been so dedicated and so committed. I just hope that he doesn't get too much hate, because he has big shoes to fill. So
yeah, and I mean, and particularly, like, there are a lot of Severus simps out there, and for them to completely just change the way Severus is going to be, represented.
I wonder if they're going to change the story at all to make it more logical, I guess.
What do you mean?
Well, because, like, if they're changing so much with Snape, I wonder if they're going to, like, change anything in the story, because, we already have the movies. Like, why are you doing another series, A? And B, changing the characters.
I think the main thing is that, like, there's only so much you can put in a movie, and I feel like in TV shows you can kind of go more in depth, and I know that people that read Harry Potter felt like the movies had taken things out, which is expected because of pacing. Yeah, but in a show, I feel like you're able to just, like, get in there more. I want to know if you think Adam was offered, and then if he was, why you think maybe he turned it down. Because I have my reasons and I've said them, but I want to know what you think.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure he got offered because, for the past, ever since he's, been in the public eye, people have been going, that's Snape. Oh my god, he looks so much like Snape, and blah, blah, blah. Especially that one shot that came out for The Last Jedi when, Luke blows up the hut and then he turns and looks back. There's that one part where people just took that and they're like, oh my god, that's Snape. So ever since then, people have been comparing him to the role. And I'm pretty sure they may have approached him about it, but A, he is done with such huge projects. He's gonna be in, again, Papa Isuedu, he's gonna get so much hate, because, again, he has a huge role to, live up to. And I'm pretty sure after Star Wars, Adam's just like, that's the biggest thing I want to do. I'm done for now. Maybe down the line, but right now, I'm pretty sure, he has a new baby girl. He's not gonna take on huge projects like this, especially being in the public eye again, or, so focused in the public eye. I don't think he wants to do that again. Right. Right now he's like slowly, not fading, that's the wrong word, but like he's slowly kind of like, I don't know, he's just like slowly backing up and like, I did my share of big productions, big cinematic franchises. I don't want to be a part of that. So I
think the Star Wars, like, even though he's of course proud of his work and being Kylo and that it's something that he holds dear, I think it's just the size of the relevance of it and just the fanness even now is still so gigantic. And it's like, as you know, he has the anxiety. I wonder if it's just way too much for him to handle. It would be,
for sure.
Harry Potter is fucking huge.
Exactly. And it's nothing new, so that's why I feel, if it were something big and new, maybe, but I also feel like he doesn't want to be connected to a certain character again, because, like, he's forever, like, for the rest of his life, he's gonna be Kylo Ren. People are gonna approach him like, oh my god, Star Wars, oh my god, Kylo Ren, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't want another character attached to him like that, And I'm pretty sure he would do a phenomenal job as Snape, but the anxiety is there, and I understand if he, doesn't want to do it, or that he doesn't want to do it.
Exactly. Imagine someone comes up to him and they just know him from like the tiniest little like role he had.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? They're just like, oh my god, it's Jude.
Yeah, exactly.
And he'd be like, what?
Thank you.
Like, go ahead and sing that Italian song. Let's go, Adam.
Oh my god.
I know everyone's very disappointed, but it's not happening. So you get to making your AI pictures and your sketches of what could have been, but will never be.
Yeah. For his own sanity, we can accept it.
That's fine. I love his choices. Like, when you look through, like, what's coming up and the type of roles they are, he's never really playing the same kind of person. And even though people like to be like, oh, he's playing another Italian, I'm like, they could be the furthest from the same fucking person. Maurizio Agucci, a shy dude, and then we have Enzo Ferrari over here fucking driving cars and making cars. Like, just because they're Italian doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So he's always playing somebody like very different.
And very interesting too, like very faceted characters. Like if you look at every single role, there's not one role that's like, yeah, you know, they're all good. But also he makes something out of it. Maybe that's why. he makes it interesting. Yeah.
If you took Philip Altman and Alan and Adam Sackler and just stuck them together.
Yeah. Okay, now I want to know, like, regardless of Adam, what do you think of HBO making a new Harry Potter series? Just like your general opinion on a new Harry Potter.
Well, the first feeling that I had in my body was...
Yeah.
It just feels like too much. Once it hits like a 20-year mark on something, they're like, well, let's make it again. And I'm like, why can't you make like an origin story of somebody? You technically did that with, sorry, my alarm. Already awake.
Be professional here.
Look, Professor, I have to make sure I don't oversleep. I mean, Adam. So,
Marta.
Dick. No.
Well, that was your last coffee.
Don't you know I'm wearing expired contacts? I can barely afford my coffee, Professor.
I'm Cinderella. I'm a broke bitch.
I think everyone's going to be cast very well. So that's not what I'm worried about. Is just, it's not about that the actors are going to be crap. Like, I think the acting's going to be good. I'm worried about if the story's going to hold up the way the originals did. And I think that's the main thing. Everything just has to make sense and work. And it would be nice if it's not a copy paste and that it's not like single frame to frame exactly like the first movie. Even if it's the same story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
when
yeah.
you watch remakes, you can literally be like, oh, that's like exactly the same. Like, my favorite remake is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I hate the original because it's so boring. It's so boring. I'm like, this isn't scary. Which you think it would be because some guy has a chainsaw with someone's skin on his face and he's chasing you. But there's just something, like, I try to watch it. I'm like, this is boring. But I watched that one with Jessica Biel in it. It's so good. And I remember being like, oh my God, this guy's real. He's going to come get me. Growing up watching that.
It scared the shit out of me 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, like that one was so well done. It's really hard to remake a horror movie and make it like, because then the original is normally the one they're like, well, this is the better one. And in my opinion, the newer one is the original's ass. This is the original. I don't even know if it's technically going to be better than the original, just because it's such a classic, but it should just at least be done well and written well, and hopefully not like a carbon copy of the original, basically.
Yeah. Ever since Rings of Power, I've been just like, you know what? I'm not going to have any expectations anymore, because if I do, I'm going to be disappointed, and I just want to watch the thing for the sake of it, you know, to be entertained, and not have all these expectations that are never going to get met. So
you're not entertained?
I mean, Rings of Power.
I have some tea on that, okay? It's not tea, but like a hot take.
Okay. Okay. Oh my God.
Peter Jackson was not involved in Rings of Power, and that is all we need to fucking know.
Yeah, and it shows.
It shows. He was involved in The Hobbit. Even if they stretched the story of The Hobbit, the movies were incredible, okay? Yep. Lord of the Rings is my favorite movie. And I think that's why I never watched Rings of Power, because I'm like, Peter Jackson's not involved. I don't know if it's going to be handled properly. I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, I remember my sisters and me, we were she was so mad. Every time we brought it up in any shape or form, she'd just go. Like, she had high expectations too, which, you know, I mean, is valid, you know. But, like, for me, I was like, I don't think I want to have expectations, because I know I'll get disappointed either way. Like, no matter what happens. And you know what? I never finished it. I mean, that's all I have to say. I didn't finish the series. So, to this day, I was like, okay, this is not captivating enough. But, like, yeah, I don't want to, like, you know, ruin it for the people that did like it. So let's just, yeah.
I mean, this is what podcasts are for. We state our opinions, and you don't have to like it. And if there is a comment section, so you can surely tell us that we're wrong down below. Go ahead. Let's light this candle, huh? Just to tie this in with Adam, if Adam had to play anyone in Lord of the Rings universe, who would it be?
Ooh. No, I can't say that.
Sure you can.
No, it was a joke. I was gonna say Gollum. No.
Gollum, what's taters, huh?
Taters.
My precious.
My precious. Hello, Frodo. Precious. No, okay, in all of Middle Earth, do you have something in mind yet? Because I can't really think of it. I mean, other than Sauron. That would be kind of cool.
Oh, like a young Saruman?
Yeah.
That would work, because Christopher Lee had such a booming voice as well. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Especially like the contrast and white. And...
I've that's lived in my head rent free. The way his hand just did this thing over that ball.
Yeah, and then his nails and
his nails. Can you imagine Adam with nails?
He's like
honestly, so think about it. You watch all 3 Lord of the Rings movies, right? You go through The Hobbit. We don't know what the fuck Sauron looks like. I know they unveil him in Rings of Power. Yeah. Not impressed.
Dude, I was like, this is the guy?
He's like the fallen angel of Middle Earth.
Yeah, I felt like, Natalia and Girls. This is Hannah. Did you leave in a rush?
I forgot to tell you something. I got kind of mad at my friend at work because she said I look like Hannah Horvath. This is the 3rd person that has said that I look like Hannah. And I said, you better fucking take that shit back. And I'm like, have you seen Girls? And she said no. I was like, you insulted me. By saying I look like Hannah. And then I went to go to my manager who has seen Girls and like knows of Adam and stuff. And I'm like, blah, 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 said I look like Hannah. And she's like, wow. Is it because I have a slightly round face and I also have brown eyes? Like, literally, what? Yeah. Let me just act like I'm getting in the ambulance. Ready?
No. Only family. She's not family.
Adam, I'm coming with you, Adam.
Don't leave her. Don't let her in here. She's a monster.
I wish I had a fucking concussion.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he has a concussion. I wish I had a fucking concussion.
I love it when he's mad at Hannah, because she deserves it. She's... We'll get into that another episode. Well, we already did, technically, but...
Yeah, she's a handful.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to show you how I labeled my lanyard.
Oh, okay.
So, it says Olive Smith, lab student, and Adam Carlsen, simp.
Approved. I like it.
Approved. I should have put Adam Carlsen as my daddy, but that's okay.
Here we go. I only have this. This is my health insurance ID card, but it looked so labby. You know what?
That's very true. It's like, oh, Adam, you cut your hair. I see. We need to get back onto the main mission. You guys. Yeah, where's mine? Oh, here it is. I don't have tabs in mine, so
This is the first time that I've done that.
Oh, okay.
Like with tabs and like notes and everything, so for the pod, because I can't, like, books are so sacred to me, like I can't write in them. Like if it has like a crinkle in the, even this one has it. This is like the only book. Yeah. Every other book, like, I need to, like, read like this, like, nothing happens to it.
Yeah. I meant to read it again. I didn't get a chance, but I still feel like it's very fresh in my mind. And I did listen to a pretty short-ish podcast that had Ali on it. Ali's been on a lot of podcasts in the past couple years, actually. Ali, so I know you've been on, like, book talk and like romance novel podcasts, but we're specifically Adam. Like, don't you want to talk about Adam with other rats, please?
Oh my god, I got yeah! This is new. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Love. I'm not on
love.
an iPad, so I don't get heart.
Aggressive love! I love you! I give aggressive affection.
Me too. Yes. Be like, I fucking love you!
You little shit!
Yeah. Fucker! I found that I don't know if I'm afraid or if I'm proud, but I feel like I'm slowly becoming Sackler.
I would say proud.
It depends on what, but if I'm like stubbing my toe and I'm like, you fucker, and I'm like, Sackler's in here.
I'm sort of like, okay, where I live, driving is war. Driving a car is war here. And like, yeah, there's some road rage. So when I am alone, I yell a lot when I'm in the car. Like, argh! And the other day I was like driving, somebody cut me off. Like it was bad. Like it was almost an accident. And then I like put down my window and I was like, you cunt, Satchel! And then I was like, Sackler. Sackler is slowly taking over our lives, and we're allowing it. It's fine.
Yep. He just says whatever, and he's just like, you deal with it.
Ali, you should write a Sackler novel. That would be awesome. Ooh, I'd read the hell out of that. Could you imagine? I mean, we love Carlsen, obviously. We're going to get into this in a minute. But, like, I mean...
But Adam Carlsen is Kylo coded, and you can tell. And I know I miss fucking spoke. No, Kylo coded, and you can tell by a lot of like the way he's written, obviously. But Sackler's so like unhinged, but he still has like a big heart, and I would love that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You just like wake up in the morning, and then like Adam Sackler's sitting there like juggling fruit in his underwear.
Do the chainsaw scene, please. Please bring in the chainsaw scene. Ali, please.
Oh my god. Yeah, like they're moving apartments. And he's like, hold on, Hannah, I've got a chainsaw.
Okay, so Shannon and I, we decided, which we already announced in the previous episode and on Instagram and TikTok, we started a book club, so we won't only be discussing films and TV shows and, you know, appearances of Adam. We will also be discussing books based on Adam. Yes. Here. Yeah, I was just gonna say, get them all. Boom, baby. There we go. Okay. We need to make an edit with that.
How about a twofer? Just be like, hold on, wait.
Yeah.
And they're like, the way Shannon treats her books, what the fuck? She's just throwing them. They're fine, guys. Look, they're paperback. I'm literally just going, whoop.
So we're going to be reading books, reviewing them, and categorizing them into either Reylo-inspired books or Reylo-coded books, and then an extra category for Adam-coded books. So Reylo-inspired books are basically any book that used to be a fan fiction, maybe, turned published, maybe an alternate universe, so not necessarily fantasy. It could be modern, you know, fictional book where the characters match the description of Adam and Daisy, or just, you know, Reylo in general. And then Reylo-coded books would be, you know, it's a similar storyline, so it's usually more fantasy-based. The dynamic is very Reylo-themed. You know, the dyad trope, or fated mates, or whatever. Destined soulmates, things like that. They can resemble the characters, but they don't necessarily have to. But that's why it's like Reylo-coded, you know. It's not necessarily, okay, we're taking Reylo and then putting it into a book,
right?
Which would be Reylo-inspired. And we also want to give, like, our approval stamp, like, okay, this actually does fit the description of Reylo-inspired, Reylo-coded, or whatever. These, like, if you're a rat, if you're a Reylo, then these books really are for you, you know. Because there's a lot of books out there where I read them, there people are like, oh, this is so Reylo-coded, this, you know, it just looks exactly like Adam or Daisy or whatever, and I'm just like, no, not really. I mean, that's why we distinguish between inspired and coded, you know, just because the theme is there doesn't necessarily mean, okay, this is actually, I'm reading about Adam Driver, I'm reading about Daisy Ridley, you know. And we did post the list of all the books that we've accumulated so far on our TikTok and on our Instagram account. So if you want to go check that out, and we will be reading, you know, these books. We obviously today we're done with Love Hypothesis and we're going to be discussing it today. Did we agree on the next book yet?
We have not. If
you were zoned out. You were like,
yes. Look, I have ADD. I have the ad, so you have to you reeled me back in, and that's perfect. I mean, do we want to stay on an Ali Hazelwood like stream, or do we want to go to? Because if I have to, I mean, if I gotta get another book, I get another book. But you just tell me.
Oh wait, we did agree on Hurricane Wars.
We have Hurricane Wars, and then I have Love on the Brain right now, as far as what I currently have. But you know,
right?
A quick run to Target, a quick Amazon order, I can get some. You know.
Yeah, I mean, the only books I have right now is Hurricane Wars, Love Hypothesis, and then Blood of the Sands, and this one, Sliding into Love. And I mean, if you look at that, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. There's like no ambiguity whatsoever.
I can't get over the title. I know the sliding into love is referring to like sliding.
Yeah.
But sliding between bases. But think about bases in baseball and bases as in like.
Juliet. We appreciate you, girl.
We'll be sliding into them DMs, girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
slipping and sliding on them abs. Anyway, continue.
Jesus. Okay. Where were we going? What were we talking about?
Someone should make a basketball one and call it Slam Dunk with Adam, because he already plays basketball, Adam. So that would be very Adam coded.
That would be. Aw, I would love that. And then get the Air Jordans, right? He has like 2 or 3 specific ones that we all know.
So either like Slam Dunk or like the ball is in your court or something like that. Like a title like that would be like really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about basketball, so I can't write it. So someone else write it.
Yeah. I mean, people like Raylo fan fictions turned published are going really well. There are so many Raylo fanfics that have turned published and they're doing really well. So get on it.
Get on it.
We'd all appreciate it. I started working out again, like really getting like trying to get mass, you know, like muscles. And every time I go down to the gym, I was like, Adam would be so proud. And like I can already feel it like shaping up.
Shelley, that's crazy because I had an appointment with a nutritionist today.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I told her, I was like, so I was on a Zoom call like this, and I was like, so I just want to mention, I know, you know, obviously like get in shape, get in health, like I used to work out a lot, like that was a thing. I'm like, I don't know if you've noticed, but clearly I have an obsession. And she's like, yeah, I noticed that in the back. And I was just like, yeah, I mean, like, Adam was a Marine, so of course he's, like, psychotic with, like, his exercising and his health. But, like, it's very inspiring because he's 41 and he looks great. And I started to fucking cry like a little bitch because I was just like, I want to feel that good when I'm 41. And I told her, I was like, I don't care about feeling skinny. I don't care about any of that. I just want to feel strong and that I'm, like, healthy and that, you know, like, if I could do like a fucking Tough Mudder, that would be something I would be proud of instead of just be like, I can fit in this tiny little swimsuit. Like, I don't care about that. Yeah. Yeah.
No. Yeah. And also like my body type would never allow that anyway. Like it just doesn't fit and it wouldn't look right either. You know, I'm a patchy. Yeah. You know, boom, baby. But yeah. So, and like you said, like you just want to feel good about yourself. You want to be strong and fit and not just skinny to look good. No, we want to feel good. And Adam inspired that. I love that.
And I don't like weighing myself because I don't like to focus on numbers. I would rather like be able to like look in the mirror and see what I like instead of worrying.
If you think about it, like muscle mass is a lot more than fat. Like it weighs more.
Yeah.
So like if you go by weight, like it's not going to make any sense because if you're putting on muscle mass, then it's not going to make sense for you to go by numbers, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the BMI is bullshit because, like, when I was younger and I wasn't even, like, big, like, this, I was, like, almost obese
Yeah.
And I'm like 5'2", and I was around like 150 pounds. That's obese.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, so what are you gonna do to work out? So I might just start doing like videos. I really loved kickboxing, like I said, so I might go back to doing that because I hate running.
I mean, the only like cardio that I love is dancing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I'm a dancer. So like
you're like
Luke, I am a dancer.
Could you imagine, Kylo? I don't want to be a Jedi anymore. I want to dance.
I don't want to be a Jedi anymore. I want to be a dancer. A dancer for the First Order. Show me the show me the dance floor. Where's the pole?
Yes.
Where are my glass heels at? My clear heels at?
Oh, that's why Snoke has that gold robe. He's just like, dance, baby.
And then Kylo's like that little eye roll.
Yeah.
Before we truly get started, I mean, I am going to talk about the book right now. My roommate basically was like, Shannon, you have got to read this book. She's been telling me for so long. She's like, it's Adam. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I get it. I'll read it. But I'm a really bad procrastinator. And then once I finally read it, I was like, this is Adam. I listened to the first chapter. I went to work. I'm sitting there cleaning brushes and I'm thinking about it and the way that he was described, the way he was speaking. And I was like mesmerized. And she was like, Shannon, I told you. I was like, I know you told me, but I just didn't. It did not click until I read it and I was not well. I was not well.
Yeah.
At how well he is personified in this. Not just as Kylo, but just Adam.
Yep. The first time I read this was like years ago. I'd say like, I don't know, 2-3 years ago maybe? I don't know. Okay. When did it come out?
Many moons ago.
Many moons ago, yeah. And I heard of it and I forgot who told me, but they were like, oh, you know, this is like, this used to be a Reylo fan fiction. And at the time I was like, okay, well, you know, I was still getting over it. So I was like, I don't really want anything new. You know, I was like so in the trauma. And then I started reading blah, blah, blah. And then my friend Jenny, shout out to you, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
Jenny. She's like, Shelley, I read this book. You have to read it. I read it in like 2 days. She's a very, like, she loves to read too. And she really takes her time and, like, you know, she relishes in the books. So she's like, I finished this in 2 days. I was like, okay. And then I borrowed this from a different friend because he was reading it. And I was like, wait, I recognize that. Oh my God, that's Adam. And he's like, are you sure? Oh my God, yeah. And then he's like, you want it? I'm done with it. It was great. I was like, okay. And then I started it and I read it in 1 day. And this was the first time in my adult life, like since I've been a child, that I read through the night. And when I was done, it was morning. So hats off to you, Ali Hazelwood. You know how to capture an audience. Like, oh my God.
Congratulations on having such a slow burn as well. I can't believe I had to wait until chapter 16. I mean, was it worth the wait? Yes.
Yes.
Was I dying inside?
I mean, I love slow burns, so like for me, I was like, yes, I love it. But I know you're like, let's go, guys. Come on.
I don't know what that says about me, but I'm like, don't cow. I want to know.
Let's go, 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 go.
Literally, like my Kylo fic is like chapter 6. Bam. It's not full on, but it's something, you know. So, it's something. I loved the prologue. And the prologue is referenced later, and all of us like, I don't know if it's the same guy. And I'm literally like, it's the same fucking guy. Like, and it didn't become a surprise later, like, what? Like, it's just like, it was very much like, okay, yeah, it's Adam, duh. Yeah. But I love the way it was written. Please go.
Now I remember what I wanted to say. Yeah, so Ali, the way she writes, it's like so, what's the word? Like, it's so easy to read because there's like such a, like, you can predict a lot of things, but in the best way possible. Like, it's just so easy to read. Like, you're making up your own theories, like, oh, this could happen, or, you know, maybe this is a little, or, you know, and then that exact thing happens and you're like, yes, you know? So it's like so easy to read. It's still, even though some things are super easy to predict, it's still so captivating, you know?
Yes.
I really enjoy, again, like one day, all through the night.
Another thing, and I don't know, you would think I would like not be saying this kind of stuff because I'm actually an English major. Creative writing is what I graduated college with. I love that the font isn't too small.
Yeah.
I get overwhelmed when there's so many words on the page that I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna take forever to read. But then I was just like, oh my god, this is like Harry Potter size font. This is perfect.
Yeah. It's Harry Potter, and also like Sarah J. Maas font as well.
So when I saw that, I was like, okay, good. Like, I'm not going to feel overwhelmed because I have trouble reading like for long periods of time. So I'll often like pair it with like an audiobook to keep me like double focused. Can't just be sitting there and reading because otherwise my mind will drift or I'll
fall asleep.
Exactly. So
did I tell you that I color coded these? Like the tabs have a meaning. Yeah, everything that's blue is like Daisy Ridley coded. Everything that's purple, well, okay, you probably can't tell on camera. Everything that's purple is like references to Star Wars somehow, and everything that's pink is Adam Driver coded. Like everything, like either quotes he's said or little, you know, from his actual private life, little facts stuff, you know, on in his voice, you know, So, Ali, I see you, girl. I see you.
I don't care if I barely talk during this episode. I want to see you just go in and me be like, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh. Like, because of course I read the same book, but there are some blanks in my mind that maybe you can fill for me.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say what they are yet because we're going to get there. But it seems to happen. Like when we were doing Clyde Logan, you know, I had questions about the Logan Lucky film, that things I didn't get, you know.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can answer.
You will. I'm sure you will. With the amount of tabs that you have and I have none. And that's not a diss to you, that's a diss to me because I've never been a note taker.
Okay.
I try to, but it just, my brain is too fast for notes. If I take notes, I have to type them. It's weird.
Well, no, that makes sense. Like, because typing is
not fast enough. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Because if I start writing it, then I'm going to forget as I'm writing it. Right. Hashtag embarrassing. No. Shannon forgot the words as they were coming out of her brain.
And then
It's like when you're playing The Sims and you cancel the action, they walk into the room and they're like, the fuck was I in here for? It's literally that. Did God just cancel my activity? Yes. Why am I in here? So we are not going to go through this book play by play, but we do want to talk about certain scenes, certain references, because that's one thing I was trying to connect while reading. I was like trying to connect it to like the Star Wars world and be like how she pulled that to make it into a modern, not fantasy, you know, that's where my brain was reeling like the whole time I was reading it. I was like, so this is the version of the dyad, okay? And who is Finn? And who is Poe? And I was like trying to be like, who's you?
Yeah, this book is literally the characters from, obviously, the sequels, placed into a modern setting. So we have Finn as Malcolm. We have Poe as Dr. Holden Rodriguez. Obviously, Kylo is Dr. Carlsen. Olive Smith is Rey. Then we have Rose. Oh shit, what's her name again? On. Right? And then we have Hux as Jeremy. He's not the bad guy in this book, but like he's still the ginger. And we have a little ginger Rose going on. She snuck that in there. She also snuck in Storm Pilot. So like not to spoil her, but got a little bit of Storm Pilot in here. So and
Storm
obviously
Pilot. What do you mean?
Oh, Storm Pilot is the ship name for Poe and Finn. So a lot of people want Poe and Finn to have, you know, a homosexual relationship, which I am all for. I want those two to be together. I am, because Storm from, yes, Canoodle. Yeah, because, you know, Poe Dameron is the pilot, and then Finn is a stormtrooper, was a stormtrooper, so Storm Pilot. That's their...
Got it. Okay, I understand.
Yeah, so Ali, sneaky. I like it. Yeah, also these are headcanons. So Storm Pilot is headcanon, and then Ginger Rose is also headcanon. So that's Rose and Hux ship. Yeah. That's all I wanted to say. Should we say the thing with Tom Bennett? Or because I feel like that would be a huge spoiler.
Who is he supposed to be?
I think he's supposed to be Snoke.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, because he's like a mentor for... Yeah, okay. Yeah. But they didn't make him ugly, though, so...
No, before his face got all...
Yeah, what happened, Snoke?
I know, I want to know his backstory.
Well, he's a clone.
I know, it sucks.
Like, he's just Palpatine made him in a lab.
I mean, we'll get into that when we do the Star Wars episode, the Kylo Ren episode, because, like, comics and stuff. Yeah.
Can you imagine Palpatine just making a headcanon for Snoke and be like, this is Snoke. he got his face damaged in a bad accident. Do it. Do it. Leave us. Do it. So, Miss Olive is so irresponsible with her eyeballs. I don't know, her eyebrows could be a mess too, I don't fucking know. They don't talk about her eyebrows, but her eyeballs are a mess because she's wearing expired contacts because she can't afford to get new ones. So she's reusing expired contacts, which is awful. Don't do that. You need your eyes. Yeah. So as she's kind of dealing with this burning sensation in her eyes that apparently goes away after they sit in her eyes for a while, a mysterious figure, a man, comes in, and then she thinks she's in some sort of other bathroom, but she's in a lab bathroom, sink, whatever, to dump chemicals and whatever in. So they're kind of exchanging, you know, conversation. Of course, he finds also the contact expired thing to be quite bad. Like, you're a scientist. Why are you destroying your eyes?
Yeah.
He seems fairly nice, straightforward, maybe pokes fun at her a little bit. It's cute.
But we don't know his name. We don't know who he is. It's just an interaction, and an interaction that kind of changes the course of her academic career, or, you know, endeavors. Because she has hesitation on going through with the PhD program, but the conversation she has with him kind of changes her mind and motivates her to continue with it. Because, you know, he tells her your reason for wanting to get a PhD and doing this research is a really good reason. So she then decides to enroll.
Yeah, all because of his advice.
Yeah.
So then after that, it kind of jump cuts to kiss.
Yeah, the kiss.
Literally. I get in there and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, like, oh, right to it. Okay. Basically.
Y'all.
Yeah.
This is the longest kiss scene I've ever read.
I know, me too. I was like, wow, very descriptive. Basically, she's hiding from her friend who has a crush on her ex, who's not really her ex, but she doesn't want to confuse anything, so she, like, kind of runs away from her friend, which is the Rose character. And then she just goes up to the next man or guy that's just in the hallway, and she's like, can I kiss you real quick? And then kisses him to give the illusion that she's in a relationship with someone else. You know, she moved on from the Jeremy character, which is Hux, so that nobody has any bad, you know, vibes or, like, you know, bad conscience of dating. Yeah. And who does this guy who she kisses happen to be?
A huge dick, apparently. Professor that a lot of people don't like because he's, they've described him as kind of arrogant, cold.
Brutally honest.
Yes.
Doesn't fit about, you know, his undergrads or his grads, because he just gives it to them very honestly and openly and brutally, which his reasons for that is cleared up later. But yeah, he's very direct, and a lot of people can't handle that. So they, you know, kind of stamp him off as arrogant and mean and unapproachable and antagonistic.
Yeah, almost like he wants people to fail, you know? And like you said, he does explain. I was just saying, like, you know, if you're a scientist, like, why would you want to publish half-assed work? Like, he's not going to allow that. So of course he's going to be like, no.
Yeah, I mean, it is research, and it there's like millions and millions and millions of dollars going into these fundings and research programs. You know, so of course we want to make the best science possible to, like, get a good outcome, you know, and not just half-assed science. So I understand that. I also understand the student side, me having been one. You know, like, you can, you know, dampen the blow a little bit, you know. You can still be very clear and direct in what you are trying to say, but you don't have to be an asshole about it. Like, you know, you don't have to make the other person feel like they're nothing, you know? Basically attacking their person. You know, you can say, okay, give constructive feedback or criticism so that I can improve, you know, but don't just blatantly insult me and the work that I've done. You know, you can still help me to improve.
Do you think that is what he was doing? Or do you think he was just being very, like, blunt and, like, straightforward?
I think in his mind, he was being helpful. I think he really does believe, which I totally understand, that he's looking at it in a very objective and professional way. Like, okay, this is wrong. You have to change that. This doesn't make sense, or this could be changed, blah, blah, blah. But his whole being is just so...
His delivery.
Blunt. Yeah, his delivery is just so blunt, and you know, people might not accept his criticism anymore because they'll just assume that he's being an asshole for the sake of it, you know. So they won't accept him actually, you know, like his help, because there's just like this, I don't know, wall, you know, that goes up, like, oh, he's gonna be an asshole anyway, so I don't need to listen to what he has to say because he's just being grumpy and he thinks he's better than everyone. So there's like this personal thing going on, or power dynamic, you know. So I'm not even going to listen to it, but his intentions are good. His delivery is just a little, you know, off-putting.
And he's just not even aware of how he sounds. And at first he's kind of like, well, I mean, I'm delivering news, and, you know, they shouldn't let their emotions get in the way of that. You know, this is science. We have to be blah, 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 blah. But there becomes a situation... well, I guess we have to wait. We have to explain other things before I explain this scene. But basically, Olive gets put in a position where she's between a friend and Adam. And she has to kind of explain to him, like, when you do this, like, I understand where you're coming from, but you're being a dick. Like, you're hurting people's feelings. It's like, is there a way you could do this without, like, softening the blow a little bit before you just fail someone?
Because, like, this friend that you're talking about, like, there's a lot of things that are dependent on him passing, I believe, just that one class, right? Because, like, he wanted to get, and then, like, you know, he had to graduate in time so that he can go off with his fiance or whatever, or something like that, right? Is that the scene you're talking about?
No,
or is it
I was talking about Malcolm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No, you're good. I was like, Malcolm is a fiance? I don't know how that works with Rodriguez. Okay. I was like, where did I miss that? Yeah. Okay. I'm really glad that you explained who was who, because there were some that were obvious to me and some that weren't. Like, I don't know why it didn't occur to me that Poe was Rodriguez.
Really?
Yeah. And also, like, Kylo and Poe aren't, like, besties. So that's why. Okay.
Are they though? Okay, hold on. In some novel, I don't remember, in one of the Star Wars books, it is mentioned that Poe Dameron and Ben Solo knew each other as children.
Oh, I heard about that.
Poe Dameron's parents were pilots for Leia, and so that's how they know each other. So they would, like, fly around together. And so the headcanon was developed that Poe and Ben were besties, basically, you know, because they both had parents that were in, like, political settings and everything. So, of course, their children didn't have too many play friends. So they kind of, like, linked up. Which circles back to this, because that's how Holden and Adam know each other, too. You know, and they were in the Netherlands, and their parents were diplomats, you know, so that's how they knew each other. So, good job, Ali. Did her research. And so that's why a lot of people have the headcanon that Poe Dameron and Ben Solo were best friends as children. And later in the interrogation scene in Force Awakens, there's, like, this personal thing going on. You know, there's kind of like this, you can feel it, like there's something there. And I don't know if this was the intention from the get-go or if it was just a beautiful coincidence. But, you know, Poe not being too intimidated by Kylo is because he knew him back then. And he's like, well, I know who you are, you know, you can't really intimidate me, so I am gonna, like, not be scared, or, you know, I'm gonna be a little sassy in return, because that's our dynamic from back in the day.
Yeah.
And then also him kind of taunting him, like, maybe your methods are wrong, maybe you're using the wrong methods, and then he's like, you know. So there's that. And that's why they're besties, and I love that in this book.
I do. I love that too. I love when you discover that, and then their whole, like, dynamic, and just showing, like, different colors, more colors to Adam's character that you wouldn't expect because of that cold demeanor that everyone's used to. And he's actually just so he gives that affection and the time for the people that he actually cares about. He doesn't waste his time with anybody, only the people that he cares about. Yeah.
Which is a self-defense mechanism, you know. Yeah, it's understandable.
Yes. That kiss scene is insane. It opens right up. Y'all, the first sentence, I actually opened it up just to kind of like take a little peeky, a peeky blinder. And it says, in Olive's defense, the man didn't seem to mind the kiss too much. And when you read the entire book and then you go back and read that sentence, it makes so much more sense.
Yes, it does. If you think about it, Adam Carlsen is like, you know, like so distant. And then why would he be okay with her kissing him? That doesn't make any sense.
I feel he would just like push her off. He wouldn't even just kiss her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like imagine if An did that, or just any other grad student, what he would have done.
Reported it.
Yeah, immediately, like, excuse me, reported. Bye, gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you gonna go like through the things that I picked up on? Maybe there's more that Ali, you know, intentionally placed that I may not have caught. But yeah, so the first one is already on page 5.
Page 5. I'm gonna follow along.
And the sentence is, the hand that closed around hers was dry and warm, and so large that it could have enveloped her whole fist. Everything about him must be huge. Height, fingers, voice. And then I put rudely large man, John Oliver. I mean, it's true. Like that obviously, very Adam. And then later it says, though maybe she was doing a decent job of it anyway, because he laughed, just a huff. And I was like, that's very Adam. Like, that's very Adam. Just like a... yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
God.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, okay, so the next one, on page 8, he was almost out the door already. Maybe I'll see you next year, she babbled, flushing a little. If I get in, and if you haven't graduated. And then he says, maybe, she heard him say, and then I wrote Flip vibes. Like when he's like, Flip, are you Jewish? I don't know, am I? That's what, like, maybe. That's the vibes that I...
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know if I'm, like, interpreting too much on this. But, like, for me, my rat brain would be like, I mean, Ali Hazelwood clearly is a rat. So I'm like, are we on the same wavelength? Like, am I picking up on what you intended or no?
You are reading these dialogue bits in the way Adam would deliver lines. But I think for me, it's hard for me to know how he would deliver lines because he delivers them so uniquely that I'm like, oh, I would have never thought to say that line that way. But I feel like in your mind, I feel like you got it. So when you read that maybe, you were like, maybe. Not like maybe. Because I would have been like, maybe. And you went, maybe.
Well, thank
like
you.
A different inflection, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
On page 10, I don't know, are we gonna do, like, I don't mind, again, like, I have all day, so if you're like, Shelley, I don't want to go too much into it or whatever.
Shelley?
Do you want to? Okay.
Shelley, we're talking about Adam fucking Driver.
Alright, I got you. So let's pick it apart!
Let's go!
Okay, so, on page 10, the sentence continues, ... making Olive feel less like a squirrel monkey climbing a, what is it, baobab tree? Sorry, I don't know what that is. And his hands, which were large and pleasantly warm in the AC of the hallway. Again, like, that's very Adam-y. And then the squirrel monkey climbing a tree part, that was just me going like, yeah, she would. Like, because she's so small, or like the height difference, you know?
Right.
And then, again, John Oliver. And then Ali, honestly, Dr. Adam Carlsen, that is the best AU name ever. Like, ever. Like, it has Adam in it, and then Carl... like, you can draw. This is so good. What else? On page 11, Dr. Carlsen might have been a young academic rock star and biology's wonderkin. And it just makes sense because, like, Kylo was also the golden child, you know, at the temple. He was notoriously moody, obnoxious, terrifying dick. Perfect description.
Especially at his time at Juilliard.
Yeah. And it even says, like, it's probably going to be in here somewhere, but it says that he makes his students cry. Adam made his students cry too in Juilliard.
Well, his classmates, not students.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then she just describes Adam really, really well. He stood in front of Olive, ridiculously intimidating, with dark eyes and even darker hair, staring down from who knows how many inches above 6 feet. I mean, 4, but it's just... Ali, you know what you doing, girl. On the next page, it literally says Adam Carlsen, destroyer of research careers. Are you saying he's a Jedi killer? Yeah, that's the connection I drew. Well, if he destroys research careers, then in the Star Wars world, he's the Jedi killer. Where's your mind at, Shannon?
So, my mind went that her book is The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Because there's no Rise of Skywalker, really. Because there's the part at the end where, you know, Snoke gets taken care of. And then they just live happily ever after. There's no, like...
When I offer you my hand, you'll take it.
She's literally like, yes, bitch, I will. There's no convincing me now. Hello.
She's the one that grabbed it without him asking. She's like, come on.
Give it.
Give it.
Give me all this man.
And just like descriptions that Ali gives is just so perfect. Like she describes Adam so well. You know, like, his lips were full and plump. Yeah. Like the dark eyes, intimidating presence, tall, large, and wide. You know, like the scene where he's playing frisbee, where he's like shirtless. And she describes how broad his chest and shoulders are. Like, that is so Adam. Like, it's so good.
And his back. How broad his
and, like,
back
the
is.
And Ali, you did so well.
There's one part near the end where they talk about him rolling his jaw. And I'm literally like, that is so, just him just going.
Yeah! Like, because he does that.
I literally, like, I was like, that's so hot. I was like...
Yeah. This is like the first 14 pages. It's just like the descriptions are just, you know, like angular face, towering and broad, and just, it says just massive, period. Like, yeah.
Another thing I really like is the progression of Olive's opinion of Adam. So basically, she's weirdly attracted to the kiss even before she realizes who she's kissing. So when she realizes who she's kissing, she's conflicted because of his reputation. So that kind of reflects how Rey feels when she takes the helmet off. Okay.
Yeah.
This is literally coming to my head as I'm saying it out loud. So that's why I'm reacting like this. So literally, the kiss is the helmet scene, you guys. Okay. So then you can tell in her face she's confused. She's like, why is he hot?
Yeah,
I thought he'd be crispy underneath that helmet like his grandpa.
I thought he crispy.
You can tell that she's like,
oh no, he's hot!
Oh no, he's hot!
You can tell in The Force Awakens she's just like, and then she tries to like be like, okay, all right. And that's literally the reaction when they separate in the kiss. She's like, I kissed Adam fucking Carlsen and I liked it and I'm very conflicted by this. And then later on, so to hold up this lie for On that she has moved on from Jeremy, they come to an agreement to fake date.
Yeah.
They make some rules like no sex, no seeing each other outside of school, unless it's, you know, they have a little date they do once a week at Starbucks or whatever.
The Starbucks is on campus so that, you know,
so it makes sense.
Yeah, so it makes sense that people see them, like, oh yeah, they're a thing, you know. Yeah.
Right. So as they continue, they probably show about maybe 3 or 4 of those little mini dates in there, I would say, in the book. And I remember there's one where she sees him sitting in his Henley waiting for her, and she's just like, yes, Daddy Henley. I can't remember if it was she said that he's beautiful, but she says something like that to describe him, and her attraction to him just grows to a point where it's just like, she's like it really seems like that, like she's like, because he's really showing a side of him that no one else sees to her. Yeah. So she gets this exclusive VIP version of Adam that no one else gets.
Right.
And she's kind of realizing that.
Yeah, which, by the way, I mean, Kylo does the same thing with Rey. Like, he's so gentle with her and, like, so calm and even with her.
Yeah.
I mean, not always, you know, but when they're, like, just one-on-one, he's always very calm, very gentle, very sweet. Like, he gives her a blanket in the hut, like, in The Last Jedi, when they're, like, you know, about to touch hands. That, I wouldn't even say it's headcanon. It's... Maybe. I don't know. Because she has a blanket around her shoulders, right? And then when Luke comes in and blows up the hut, and she stands up, the blanket is gone. If you really look at that scene, look where that blanket is. That's intentional. Like 99.99% sure Kylo probably gave her the blanket, because I mean she was wet, you know, she fell into that thing. I'm pretty sure he gave her a blanket and then vanished with him when the bond was cut. So like he's very sweet, very gentle with Rey, and so she also has a different version of Kylo/Ben. Or maybe she just has the insight of Ben Solo as opposed to everybody else getting Kylo.
If Kylo gave the blanket to her, that is Adam giving his t-shirt to her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go.
So in The Last Jedi, they touch tips.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, they do a little bit more than that.
And thank you, Ali.
That scene was incredible. I had to stop and process that for like a week before I could finish reading. Because I'm like, how do I move on from this? And then like after the scene, there was like a little bit more. And then, have you ever read a scene so good that when it's done, you're like aching inside?
Yeah, chapter 55, court of Mist and Fury. Ma'am, come on.
And I don't mean aching. I mean like aching,
yeah.
like this.
Chapter 55, babes. Where's my guitar girlies?
I haven't read that one, but I did spark note a lot of it, so I have heard that the sex scenes only get better as you progress. Because I read the first one and I was like, okay, so she gets eat out, awesome. What else is there? And then Tamlin does a little sneaky poo into fuck her in the corner when they're down in the place where she can't read. And it's like, and then literally, I love that Rastan's like, this is what you decide to do?
Literally, he's like,
this is what you decide to do? Just to come fuck her in the corner?
Reese is like, he's like the reality checker. He's like, hello?
Yeah. Did you also read that scene with the worm and go, Alaskan bullworm? I did. That was the first thought I had in my head. They're like, it's a gigantic worm. And I'm literally like, the Alaskan bullworm. It's like, oh, this is the tongue. And the whole thing is the worm.
I love that so much.
Run for your lives. Oh yeah, guys, I can do a Sandy Cheeks impression if you can't tell.
There were a couple times that I was thinking of the from Dune, the sand, where it's like,
what is that game? Me and my ex were playing a game where there were worms in the sand too, but it was like a game. It's the same creators of Rick and Morty. It's like an alien game, and so there's this one city area that you have to cross sand over, and there are these like worms that you cannot like fight back on. They're these gigantic sandworms, and I'm literally like stolen from Dune, stolen straight from Dune. They had to have, you know,
or from Lord of the Rings, the what are they called? Also, I was thinking Hobbit, not Lord of the Rings. 5 armies, the massive earthworms. Are they called earthworms? No. You know what I mean?
Like I said, I only saw like the Hobbit films like a couple times, so they're not like as fresh as like Lord of the Rings. That's why I was like, huh? There's worms?
There's worms there?
There's some worms on Middle Earth? Oh, yeah. So another thing about this is that Adam and Olive are put in situations where they have to be like publicly intimate, and they've all been pressured by On.
Yeah.
It's not even something that naturally happened until later. It was more of like, On's like, oh my God, go kiss him. He just pushed a car. Oh my God, he's your boyfriend. Go sit on his lap. Oh my God. And she's just like, and then literally Adam's just like, yeah, do it.
Yeah, this version is like so easy to get along with. Like, yes, he's like blunt and brutally honest and like, you know, intimidating, but he's just like so chill because he's like, you want to sit on my lap? Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. He's like, there's like no push and pull. There's just like, I submit.
But it makes sense because they've agreed to this. And Olive is so selfless. She's always worrying about everyone else except herself, which is very Rey. Yeah. You know, I feel like because Rey had been alone when she finally has companions and people that she cares about, she does not want to lose them. So she wants to make sure that they're happy, and that she doesn't hurt them in any way, which is valid.
Yeah.
And that's including Adam, because she ends up befriending him even with their situation, and she doesn't want to make him uncomfortable. But he's never uncomfortable with her.
Yeah.
Never. Not once.
Never. She's like the source of serenity for him. Like, she kind of calms him down.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Ray does with Kylo, too. Like, whenever they're together, he's just, like, immediately just, like, relaxed. Not as... And he's like...
I love the bit of, like, protectiveness that we see even before, like, near the ending. Again, I'm not sure exactly how this reflects. So maybe that the coffee shop scene where it's Tom, Adam, and Olive, that almost reminds me of, even if Rey wasn't there in the movie, it's the scene where Snoke is confronting Kylo about, like, you're being distracted by this girl, blah, 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 and he's like, rah. So in the book, basically, she's trying to get approved to go to a new lab for her research, for her thing. And it happens to be...
what is it called? For a doctorate.
Her doctorate for the research for her project.
Thesis.
Her thesis, yes. And so it happens to be Adam's friend and long-term mentor. And so he ends up being kind of like dickish in a way with the way he's asking questions. And Adam ends up going like, dude, don't talk to my girlfriend like that. Like, actually gets like really defensive with her.
Well, I wouldn't say don't talk to my girlfriend like that. I would say more like, why aren't you as professional as you should be?
No, but see, he was pressuring her about, like, the personal reason of why she was doing the project, and it was upsetting her. Like, it was making her emotional. And then Adam was like, you're upsetting my girlfriend. Like, what's wrong with you? And then we really see, like, the Kylo wrath, like, at the end.
Yeah. Adam wasn't necessarily, like, one of those, like, don't talk to my girlfriend like that way. He turned to Olive and said, you don't have to answer that. That's what I love about it. Like, he is, like, helping her stand up for herself and not just blindly protecting, you know, because, like, hello, she has a voice too. That's what I love about Carlsen. He's like, you don't have to answer that. You can, you know, these are the questions that he should be asking you. And then it was for her also very helpful because that way she was able to, like, categorize and, like, have her mind and thoughts be organized. Like, he wasn't talking for her. He was, like, helping her find her voice.
Yes.
That's the thing. That's what I love.
I agree.
And I feel like Kylo does that too. Like, he doesn't just like, oh, I'm gonna protect you, you know, or whatever. He's like, here's the way, you know, here you go. This is how you could do it.
This is the way.
Yeah, this is the why.
This is the way.
This is the why.
Sounds like Spanish to me.
Can I speak Spanish? Let me try. Saba, saba, sama, sama. Sounds like Spanish to me.
Sounds like Spanish to me.
So they hint at Adam having, like, an anger problem that he doesn't really show. But they hint at it, and then later you get to see it, and
it's beautiful.
It's protective daddy. Like, how dare you
do this?
And
so we don't want to spoil what it is that Tom, or should we even say anything?
He's mentioned pretty early in the book.
Yeah, okay, so basically Tom does something that we don't want to spoil, and Adam sees, or it's basically unveiled that he did this, and it's wrong, blah, 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 and the fact that he then blows up and, like, wakes up, that scene is so good. Like, because he gets so feral.
So basically that entire scene is when Kylo goes...
Yeah, him going... Boom!
Just like...
Yep.
I'm just gonna say this, The Last Jedi is... I mean, of course, I love all three movies, but that The Last Jedi scenes live rent-free in my mind.
It's for the girls and gays. Ugh.
Girls and gays and theys, baby.
Yeah, baby.
I mean, the way he just, like, turns that hand and then just... Let the saber strike true. Your true enemy.
Yeah, kill your true enemy. Boom, baby.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's get back into it.
Anyways,
I love these detours. Also, like, the blue ones are Ray coded. So the way Ali, like, describes Olive is so Daisy Ray. You know, like Olive had always been slight, just the side of too slender. But girls who are 5'8", really blah blah blah. Which Daisy Ridley is 5'8". So the fact that she keeps these small facts about the actual actors in it, it's just.
Apparently, it was getting too hot in here for Dr. Carlsen, so the lab coat had to come off.
Yeah. True that. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna put it back on in a minute. I just need breezy cover girl.
Literally get out of my head. I was literally gonna be like easy breezy beautiful Carlsen.
Okay, ready? Go.
Easy breezy beautiful Carlsen.
On page 27 says she was not she referring to Olive, or in this case Daisy. She was not a short woman, but he was just big. Underneath I wrote Daisy said something like that once.
I was nervous about the fight because he's enormous.
Like about Adam, because she's pretty tall.
I was nervous about the fight because he's enormous.
He's enormous.
I love how, like, I made an edit with where it ended there, but then I had forgotten that the rest of the interview, she's just like, but then once we started, like, practicing and stuff, it was more like a dance, so it was, like, a little, not as intimidating, which I thought was really cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's dancing with Adam.
Yeah.
With little light sticks.
Want Disney to release the footage of him carrying her in a fireman's hold, or firefighter hold.
Is that a thing?
You know what that is? Yeah, it's like when you pick somebody up and put them on your shoulders. So you have like one leg here and then one arm here and a leg on the other side. So you just, like holding it. Because firefighters, like when they save people, they have to like and then run, you know. And it's just easier than opposed to like carrying because you're putting all the weight in your biceps. But this way you're like carrying the person with your full body. And he did that after the scene in the throne room where they're like fighting against the Praetorian Guard. He did that because when they were done and that scene wrapped, to like celebrate because they had to do it so many times, he like carried her in a firefighter's grip or hold. Disney, please release that. Please. We just need it. Thank you.
I have been rendered speechless, so to see Adam just pick things up with no struggle is always a delight to see.
Yes.
So, picking up a goat, picking up Tina Fey, picking up anything, I'm down.
Oh yeah, and then like the side characters, you know, Jeremy Langley, he has red hair, Hux mark, you know. So I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be Hux. What I really love is that An is Vietnamese, like Kelly Marie Tran is Vietnamese in real life. That's just so beautiful. You know, she kept that in there as well. Yeah. Also circling back to Ray / Olive being a calming presence. It even says it on page 27 too. For some inexplicable reason, his presence in the room soothed her. So, you know, it's also like dyad things. They soothe each other.
Yes. You read Adam's chapter, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Another dyad connection. When they were having sex or being intimate, he finds out that she's not a virgin, but she's not versed in sex as much. Or has wanted sex in this way that she does with Adam. And we find out that Adam also kind of just checked out from sex for a while. Not really wanting it, not really needing it. Not until he met Olive. Right. That feels like a very dyad thing. And that I've never really felt a connection to someone so much that being intimate with them is something that I want. Yeah. Like, that's beautiful.
Yes, it is.
And I love that dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one thing that I noticed. But it was like she thought something was wrong with her. And he's like, there's nothing wrong with you because I literally had been feeling the same way. Like, no one is entertaining me sexually in a way that excites me until I met you. But of course, at that point, it's like, we don't know Adam's intentions. We don't know what's going on in his head, which is why we only get the one chapter. But at least we get the one chapter in the scene that I feel like it matters most. But I will say I want to know what's going on in his head the entire fucking book. Yeah. I understand the whole point is for him to be a mystery, and that's great for like your first read or maybe your second. But it would fill so many gaps because I feel like I still have questions about the ending. And then just based on how we discover a secret about Adam, basically I'll say, and how that intertwines with everything that has happened throughout the book. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to know what was going on in his head throughout a lot of the things that Olive was like, but he was so nonchalant about it. Was he? How much of an act was a lot of what he was saying? Probably all of it, you know? Not an act.
I think that part of him is more Adam based than Kylo based.
Oh, for sure. I agree.
You know, because Kylo would be much more emotional. And Adam's just always very, you know, he's a very cool dude. You never know what's going on in his head. You know, he's very chill, very relaxed, very, you know, not distant. Like, he's with you, but still, like, very, like, he allows you to be emotional. You know what I mean?
Right.
As opposed to him, like, you know, expressing that. Like, he expresses it in a different way. I don't think he was, like, him being calm was an act. I think he genuinely just didn't know how else to react in those situations. Maybe in his heart and, like, in his brain, he was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But, like, he probably just doesn't know how else to act. And so he just does what he always does, which is stay very calm and just brutally honest, you know, with certain things. And I also think that I feel like he takes a lot of topics that she would see as, my god, overwhelming, as something like so natural, like so casual. It's just like, okay, what exactly is the big deal? You know, it's just, you're just on my leg. That's okay, you know? I mean, yes, it's intimate, but it's still, I feel like he draws more of the logical points out of the situations. And then he allows himself to be in those situations because he sees it as something logical.
That reminds me of when Kylo is shirtless and they're discussing, because Rey is upset about Han passing. And he's like, why what? Say it. It's like, why did you kill him? And she's like, I didn't hate him. He was very direct and forward about his intentions, but made it make sense. Like, I didn't hate him, but in order for me to be who I have to be, I have to snip and cut everything out of my life. So it's something that I had to do. So I think your explanation makes sense because it ties into the way that scene went, because she was very emotional about it, and he was very just direct. Yeah.
And
for sure.
Also tying into the fact that he was shirtless, like, he didn't give a fuck. For her, it was like, can you, like, put something on? This is very intimate. This is, you know, weird. And he just, like, okay, so I'm nude. What? Okay. It's just skin, basically, you know? Like, didn't even answer her question of, could you put something on? He just went straight to... And I feel like that's what Adam Carlsen does as well. Like, he doesn't take, I don't know, situations that may be socially awkward, socially taboo, or whatever, or things that usually people are like, oh my god. He just views it as something natural, normal, like nothing to make a big deal about, you know? So that, kind of ties in with that.
Or it was the Han Solo and him coming out and be like, yeah, baby, look at his
yeah, look at me.
Look how big and muscular I am. Yeah. You can thank the Knights of Ren for that.
Vickrell in the back giving him chicken. You gotta get that protein, boy.
Like, where's that rotisserie chicken at, Kylo?
Where's that rotisserie chicken?
During my nutritionist appointment, I had to not laugh because she said she was suggesting protein options for me to look at a meal in reference to the protein. So, like, if you're, like, getting a meal, you're not going to be like, I'm getting pasta. I'm getting not focused on the carb. You're focusing on the protein. She said rotisserie chicken. She said rotisserie chicken. That's 4 servings of chicken. And I'm thinking, Adam was eating 4 servings of chicken a day.
No wonder he's so bulky. He built.
And I'm sitting there just, like, listening to her, like...
brain. Like, yep.
I'm like, rotisserie chicken, really?
So you're saying I'm gonna get Ben Swallow. I mean, Adam's the perfect role model in so many ways.
Literally. Like, he's inspiring us now to, like, get in shape. Or have a shape, or build muscle, be strong. I feel like that's the most important.
My dad always says, my belly is round. Round is a shape. I'm good. I'm in shape. Round is a shape.
Well, Kylo is in shape. He's a square, so...
Yes, he is a square. He's a fucking trapezoid, baby.
Speaking of traps, no. Mr. Refrigerator Man over here. I loved her detail because I've never written an intimate scene. I've tried writing them before, but what helps you write them is to read them. And you never want to overuse, like, certain words and descriptors, you know, that a lot of them do. And I loved her descriptors in it because I feel like it puts you there.
It doesn't feel dirty.
It doesn't feel dirty. It feels so, like, innately natural in the way their body chemistry just flows. Like, there was like, she was swollen and ready for him. And I was like, damn, that does happen, don't it? I was just like, okay. You know what I mean? Just certain ways that she described things.
Yeah.
I just, like I said, after I read that scene, I had to like let it sink in before I could move on.
Let it sink in.
It sunk in all right. Anyways, so.
Not all the way, but
You know, shredded.
Okay, there's one thing. I don't know if this was intentional. If it is,
okay.
Ellie, I love you. And if it's not, then it's just a happy little coincidence. But on page 32, I forget what the exact scene is. Something about a prank. An didn't blush, but it was a close thing. Last night I did one of those face masks that you and Malcolm got me for my birthday. The one that looks like a panda. And I got a new blah, 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 blah. This could be just so casual, or my Star Wars rat brain is just like, oh my god, that's an Easter egg, and it's just not.
Yeah.
But do you know what the project title for The Last Jedi was?
Tell me.
Space Panda. Yeah, and that's why I was like, panda.
So I've been to Ulta, and there's a brand where they have the different animal
right.
things
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
So that could have been a reference to that, but I did not know that. So that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think it was probably just a happy coincidence. But if not, damn. Because then she like really specifically put little Easter eggs in there for,
So wait, what was it called again?
Space Panda. I don't know why. Maybe because like an Ewok is like a space panda or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they're like little bears or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, but like that's what they call the project, because of course they can't like use the actual title, because if people,
true.
If it's leaked, then yeah. So that's why they call it Space Panda. I don't know exactly why they use that. Maybe it's Ryan Johnson clears it up somewhere. But yeah, that was the project title.
Maybe it was the Wi-Fi password. Or just like when you get like these random like cable networks or like internet whatever, they'll name the password something really random and weird, like word combos. So it'd be really funny if they just like logged into their and they're plugging up their Ethernet and shit, and it says Space Panda. Kombucha face.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was intentional or if it was just me having a Leonardo DiCaprio moment, like, whoop, whoop. Dr. Holden Rodriguez, I put Flyboy.
Flyboy.
When Jeremy is described, yes, the Irish accent, which Donald Gleason is Irish, and the ginger hair were cute. Sneaky ginger rose in there. Yeah, so that's yes, Donald Gleason.
I know.
He's amazing. But for me, he'll always be Bill Weasley.
I'm not attracted to him as Hux, but I am attracted to him as Bill Weasley. I don't know if it's the hair, the sweet oldest brother, like, charm that he had, but I was like, yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not attracted to either. Like, I'm not attracted to Hux or Bill Weasley. I just love Bill Weasley so much because it's Bill and Weasley,
True that.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if, like, this is, again, just my brain, but on page 43, I put Hux and Kylo dynamic, where Dr. Carl, or Adam, is talking about Jeremy, and he just says, you can let people go on thinking that we're dating, it solves your problem with your friend, and what's his face? It's like, he doesn't even care about the name, and he never says Jeremy. He always says, that dude, or what's his face. So I was like, is that little Kylo Hux dynamic in there?
Well, what is insane to me is that neither of them, and I've kind of used this in some of my like fanfiction tropes or whatever, but it's like neither of them really realize that they're attracted to each other, because Olive, like, it was mentioned by Holden that there was like someone that Adam was in love with. So Olive thinks there's another woman and that she's not, so, and then Adam thinks that she loves Jeremy.
Right.
So it's just like, and another thing too, like when you read the Adam chapter, is that he is just as nervous as her. He's like, am I going to be able to perform well? Am I going to be able to do this? So they're both nervous. And I just love that, because Adam just always seems like he's got his shit together, but he's sitting there figuring it out too. In his mind. It's just more quietly calculated than Olive, because Olive just kind of panics.
Yeah.
And then Adam's just like, you know, the buttons and the lights are going off and he's, you know, getting it figured out. And then she's just like, ah!
I feel like for him, it's like steam coming out of his ears, just like very calm, just like, and for her, it's like, ah!
It's actual flames.
Yeah, flames. Ah! please put in the inside out
of anger, or yeah.
Olive didn't quite know what, but it was there, and in the way he said her name, precise, careful, and deep. And those 3 words are so perfectly suited for his voice, or like how he speaks. Because he does speak very precise and like carefully worded, and of course deep voice. But there's one thing that at first I didn't know what that meant, but Malcolm always calls Olive Kalamata or Kalamata.
It's like kind of olive. It's a Greek olive.
Yeah, and at first I was like, oh my god, that's like a nickname for best friends or whatever in a different language, until later it hit me. I was like, my god, you stupid. I was like, it's a
Greek olive. That's so cute.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, it's besties. And then no, it just means olive tree. I was like, oh. Like, I had read it like multiple times, and it was pretty far in the end of the book where I was like, oh.
Well, when I was listening to it, I was listening to someone on a Dutch accent. Sorry, I was trying to figure out like the country. I was like, what is it called? A Dutch accent reading it. So some of the pronunciation was kind of, so I would hear a word and I'll be like, what? Oh, and then my American brain would be like, oh, they mean this word. Okay. So when I heard Kalamata, I was like, oh, olive. Okay.
You know, I feel like, I mean, of course, it's very Ray coded. Sorry, where am I going with that? My brain just went.
And done. And scene. It's Raylo coded. Scene.
Yeah. Okay, on page 66, right in the beginning, it says she'd experienced... Wait, hold on. Olive had been constantly disoriented by how physical he, meaning Malcolm, was, probably because it had been years since she'd experienced such affectionate contact. And I put Lonely Jakku Baby on the top, because, like, there's so many things in here that, like, of course her parents, like, her dad he's just, like, fucked off. Her mom died of cancer. Mm-hmm. So, like, she's been alone for a long time. And that is also a little hint at, you know, being a lonely Jakku baby.
Yeah.
And then, like, where is it? On page 72, you know, that he was born in the Netherlands because my mother used to be a U.S. senator, Organa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, that's, of course, how they know each other. But there was, like, this specific, like, the Netherlands, The Hague. Is that a nod to Adam Driver and the $1 Million Haircut? Because that takes place there. It's a play.
$1 Million Haircut? Oh. I didn't know that.
Here.
Maybe. Oh, I'm not doubting you. I didn't know what you were talking about. I didn't know what that was.
So I think, like, Ali really did her research. Adam Driver and the $1 Million Haircut. Oh, no, it's a musical.
Ooh.
What? Okay. What?
No.
No.
The way you were saying it in the episode was so, it scratched an itch in my brain. It was like there's that Han Solo sass. No. The way you said it was so good. No, I just wrinkled the page.
No.
I don't know what scene, I don't know what part of the book it's in, but there's a part where, it might be in the part where he's talking about his parents briefly, but it kind of reflects how, you know, he's like, I don't hate my parents, but he grew up very lonely. You know, Kylo grew up with droids raising him basically, and then, you know, in this world, you know, probably babysitters or whatever, they're not really, he's not having like a strong relationship with his parents, so he doesn't hate them, but he's not he doesn't have a strong the way bond. He should. Yes.
Yeah.
So so I like that dynamic because it doesn't feel negative, but it didn't seem like he held resentment either. It's like he understood, but it doesn't mean it didn't affect him.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's issues there, but like there's no hate or no deep resentment or whatever.
It's like this is a pretty big, you know, thing that they do, and even though I am their son and I wish I got more attention, I kind of get it, but then I kind of don't.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know if we'll keep this, you let me know if we should, but I love the part where he's talking about his mentor when he was in graduate school. Yeah. And he was talking about how, like, he, like, hated him so much. Right. He hated how cold and cruel he was. He wasn't a micromanaging professor. And I know Adam doesn't consider himself that either, But I remember when Olive was like, "That's you," and he's like, "That is not."
Yeah,
like,
how dare.
Yes, it is. Because he refuses to see it that way because of his own struggle.
Yeah.
And so the fact that he's adapted some of that because it's what he knows.
Yeah.
And so I liked that scene because it does reflect on how Rey challenges Kylo in a lot of ways. Because, you know, Kylo teaches Rey a lot, but Rey teaches Kylo a lot as far as, again, like I said, just kind of challenging him. Which I see it more in this book than I do in the movie, me personally. I think Kylo watching Rey figure out who she is very inspiring to watch. And the fact that she's so strong and doesn't understand how special she is, I think he loves that about her so much. And that's why he likes Olive a lot, because she doesn't realize how special and amazing she is. But I feel like sometimes, and this has nothing to do with the fact that I love Kylo and Kylo's my my Roman Empire, but there are some times where I'm just like, man, like I feel like Kylo like risks so much for Rey. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. We've had this discussion before.
I feel like he just sees a lot of himself in Rey. And that's why there's just so much more motivation to save her. Like, quote unquote save. Obviously, he wants her with him. Yes. You know. But he doesn't want her to die. Like, he never truly does anything to kill her, to hurt her. I guess the tree throwing thing, yeah, but that was just like getting rid of an obstacle, basically, you know? And not to mention, she slashes his face open, you know, like impales him, like, you know.
Yes.
Like, he was a lot less aggressive than she was. But I just think that, like, that part of himself that he sees in her, he's like, that's definitely worth saving, sort of finding redemption for. And of course it makes sense because they're a dyad. So of course there's going to be parallels, you know?
Right.
And so him seeing himself in her, I feel like he's like, okay, well, because I relate to that so much, I am also redeemable. I am also worth saving, you know? So maybe that's what that is.
Yeah. Because I would just think, I'm like, Kylo, he was in more hot shit than she was as far as what he would risk for her. Does that make sense with his position being part of the First Order? He had more to risk doing what he did for her than she had at risk for him.
Right. Because she was just thrust into the situation. He was like, he had like a fundamental position.
Yes. Commander, possibly to become Supreme Leader eventually, sooner than expected, of course, but he really just like sacrificed so much for her, even in the beginning. That eye roll said so much. The way he just gently carried her up on the ship, the way he gently interrogated her without pain. Just these little things, you know? But and she's like, I'm gonna slice you open, and I'm just kidding. just kidding.
I just like love their dynamic and like their whole story in general, because on both sides it's so logical. You know, the way she reacts, the way he reacts, what they mean to each other, what they see in each other. It just all makes so much sense. Which is why the ending of Rise of Skywalker just really fucks with my head, because like it does not make sense. There's no logical reason for him to just die, you know, to be ripped away from her. Anyway.
Well, I mean, I follow those some of the Reylo pages, and then, you know, one of them, you know, it shows the scene where he's holding Rey as she's like dead in his arms. And he's sitting there thinking, I don't want to live without her, because he's done all of this. Every step that he has taken has been for her. Whether it's from, you know, trying to find her in The Force Awakens, and then he figures out that she's special, that she has this Force ability, and then has this connection with her and this dyad, and that he kills his master for her and offers his hand to her. All of this, hunts her down to try to convert her to the dark side, all just for him to go to the light, and now she's dead.
Exactly. Like every single character that suffered, that went through so much trauma, it was all for nothing. Han, Luke, Leia all died for nothing. Let that sink in. All three of them, the original trio, died for nothing. Because Ben's dead. Had he lived, then their death would have meant something. Now they don't. So Disney just killed off the greatest characters, the trio, ever, for what?
Isn't it true that only a true Jedi can heal?
Yeah.
So what does that say about Rey? And then what does that say about Ben when he comes back to the light and he heals and brings back Rey with the last bit of power he had left?
Yeah.
Just so she could live. But that also reflects on how Kylo probably feels that she deserves to live more than he does because of all of the bad that he has done. So he probably still has a lot of that guilt still.
Yeah.
And regret.
Like, that also speaks volumes about Rey's character. Like, in the novels, it said when she healed him, she would have given everything, her whole life, for him to be healed, for him to live. Like, she's so generous and she just loves so fiercely, even though this person tried to kill me, he's on the dark side, I'm supposed to hate him, but no, I see a glimmer of hope still, so I'm gonna do something to make it worthwhile, even if he's made mistakes in the past, and there's a lot of pain and trauma connected to this person, but still, he's still worth fighting because he's a person, he's human, and there's hope. And I just love Rey for that so much, because she's so hopeful, and she's shuts out people's opinions, she's so pure. Her heart is so pure. And yes, she's figuring everything out too, like everybody else, but she still stays true to herself and doesn't care what Luke Skywalker thinks. Try to kill his own fucking nephew because he saw a little bit of a dark side in him. Really?
Yeah, she whacked the shit out of him. Like, did you actually try to kill him? Are you fucking kidding me? You caused this. You caused all of this because you couldn't trust your nephew to have a conversation with him, hovering over him with your damn lightsaber.
Yeah, the Skywalkers cannot talk about emotion. The communication in that family is just dreadful.
The bit that you said about Rey being pure, I think that Ali wrote Olive in such a lovely way to show how pure and special she is.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm reading books, I don't even relate to the main character. And it's not that I hate them, but it's not someone that I can invest in. And I feel like I could invest in Olive. I can invest in her story and who she is. And even like understand and empathize her choices, even if maybe she is making mistakes sometimes. And her seeing that light in Adam when everyone else is like, oh, he's a fucking dick. And she's just like, he's really not that bad. He's really not that bad. And people just don't get it. It's because they don't know him like she does.
And they don't give him a chance either. I feel like people make up their opinions based off other people's opinions and don't allow themselves to form their own. And in this case, like Olive, so like she gives him a chance. Not only is she, of course, she's connected because of the situation, but she like actually looks at him with a blank sheet of paper. She makes up his, because she has a different version of him. Yes, I understand that. But like she still allows herself to get to know Adam Carlsen and not Dr. Dickhead, I mean, of course she has like things that people have said, but then she thinks about it and she's like, I don't see any of that. I don't believe that. And that's what I like about her. Like, she's so generous with people's personality and like how she views them or lets them, she allows the other person to show their true colors without like having, what is it called? Prejudices or whatever.
Yeah, judgment and all that. So I was listening to a podcast called Learning the Tropes podcast. So it is about romance novels. Now, I haven't read a ton of romance novels, so they're making a lot of author references that I don't know. But they do ask her about how she started writing fan fiction and got into it. And it turns out she's a big Star Trek fan. So she's in multi-fandoms or had written in multi-fandoms and whatnot, I think including Star Trek. But that's basically how she started. And she started reading fan fiction and realized that she only wanted to write and read romance. She's like, this is my shit. I only want to read this. And I was like, valid. It's like, once you know your genre, you know your genre, right? So some of you may or may not know this, but me and Shelley also write, even if it's not everything's published. We write. There's one bit in the podcast, and the podcast is short, you guys. It's like 33 minutes, so it's not like you have to sit there for 2 hours. She talks
like
about the insight, like ours. Just kidding. Ours is like worth it. So, anyways, that
the others aren't.
Right. No. Listen to them all. I don't care, but ours is definitely worth it. Okay. So I love long podcasts. I don't drink any haterade on long podcasts.
Me too.
Even just because, like, I used to drive a lot, and I still kind of drive. So if I'm like, oh, I still have this much to listen to on this episode, I'm like, yay. So anyways, she talks about her anxiety of writing. And I know if I feel like I have a writer's block, I do not want to write. Right. But it's like she talks about how, like, she has made herself write. And it's like pushing through that barrier just to put something down. Even if you're not sure about it, even if you might hate it, just write it down. I loved that advice because I find that when I am writing my fix, I'll go months without writing anything because I either feel like I don't have any ideas, I don't feel inspired enough to write, and I feel like I'm gonna write garbage. So I wonder if I just push myself to write more, if then something will come to fruition, and it's just this weird mental thing, you know?
Yeah, I think Sarah J. Maas said something along the lines of that too. She's like, even if you have the idea, just write it. Even if you think it's bad, you can always go back and, like, you know, edit and reword things. But just do it. Just write. Go and do it. So I feel like that's kind of similar.
Or let's say my mind is just full of description. I will write that. Or if my mind is just playing off dialogue, I'm going to write all the dialogue in, and then I can go back in and be like, she ran her hands through her hair, or she turned, or she did a side eye. Like, I can add those little details later. But if I have dialogue in my mind, I'm just going to spit it out and then go back in. So, but I really liked that because I find writer's block really stops me from writing, obviously, because it's a block.
Sometimes I feel like I also write out of order. Like, because it's just randomly, if I'm, like, walking or I'm, like, driving and I just randomly have an idea for a scene, I just, you know, go home and then I write that. Even if I don't put it in the actual story later, but it's still, like, fun to do. And it just itches something in my brain. You know, whether it's going to be useful. Who cares? That's what creativity is there for. It doesn't have to be useful. You know, you don't have to profit from it or have a use for it or necessity, but it's just do it. It feels so good. It's for you, and there's no reason to not do things just for you and yourself, you know?
Exactly. One thing that I learned, because I have, like I said, I have a English degree in creative writing, and one thing that I had read this book about, I think it's called Writing Fiction, and I think it was a Stephen King book about writing. And I think one of the pieces of advice was write what you know. If you start writing about shit that you don't know about, you're going to sound like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah. You know what I mean? Write what you know. Yeah. Like, I read a bit of Nicholas Sparks, like The Notebook, The Guardian, which is a great fucking book. He lived in the Outer Banks, Nags Head in North Carolina. So he wrote a lot about the beach because that's what he knows. That's where he lives. Yeah. You write about dancing because you like to dance. It makes sense. I didn't know, Ali Hazelwood is a scientist. I was just gonna say, like, that's really, really clear in this book that she knows what she's talking about, you know? I knew that she had interest in science. I just had no idea the level that she was at. So it just makes sense that, you know, because she said she was in school, bored. She was writing her dissertation when she wrote Love Hypothesis. So it makes sense that Olive would be in that spot in her life of uncertainty and where she's going and everything, because it's reflecting in her life, but also all the knowledge with all the science. But I didn't get lost in all the science. I didn't feel lost. I felt like everything was it was explained well. And I enjoyed science, but I didn't really do well. Like, I loved the lessons, but when it came to the quizzes, I was like, oh. So this was all fun until we gotta, you know, write about the mitochondria or whatever the fuck. So
the powerhouse of the cell.
The powerhouse of the cell.
That's something you're never ever gonna forget. No.
Yeah.
Even if you're never gonna have to use it, you'll know it. I get back to the book.
Yeah, sorry. Okay,
yeah, these are just, like, little tiny notes, like the Black Henley, so Adam coded because he wears that a lot. And then page 69, it says, Adam Carlsen with his long nose and wavy hair, with his full lips and angular face that shouldn't fit together but somehow did, was really, really, really handsome. And I put, a rat wrote this. Because, these features are accurate, and because he's always said to be unconventionally attractive, that's why it probably says, oh, it shouldn't work, but somehow it does. It does in real life because he's gorgeous.
It's also like when we had Candace on, and remember she told us about the paper she wrote about his looks.
Yeah.
And she said how, like, if one thing on his face changed, the formula wouldn't work anymore. Everything is precisely done in a way that everything just makes sense on his face.
Yeah.
So all these videos of them changing his face, fucking
Yeah.
stop it. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to smack you through the computer or my phone, wherever I'm watching you. Stop it.
Yeah. Good job, God. Good work. I always have to think of Sophia Petrillo from Golden Girls when she's like, yeah, everybody thinks heaven is like right above you. It's actually more to the left.
Gosh,
so I think subconsciously I'm like, when I do, it's like, no, it's always to the left. Okay, anyway, sorry. There's a couple more like Kylo coded little Easter eggs where she like asks him, what's your favorite color? And he says black.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah. Or no, she goes, yeah, well, it suits your Skyan of darkness personality.
Didn't he say at one point before he settled on black, didn't he say blue at first? And I was like, Kylo.
I think that was her, because I remember that too. I was like, wait a minute. Hold on, where was that? Somewhere here. Yeah, he gave her a knowing look. Difficult, isn't it? Because he asks her what her favorite color is, and then she says, I'm gonna go with blue, light blue. And then she goes, no, wait. And then she says white. And I'm like, light blue, like her saber. And then she says, okay, white, and like her outfit and tropes.
Yes, but I also think that's like the dynamic of like the light and the dark.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. The balance.
She's like, actually, that's not a color. That's no color. And then he does it back to her. He's like, it's actually all the colors.
Yeah.
That dynamic, the way they just kind of like the chemistry is off the charts. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then it says Olive smiled back, gesturing at Adam to order first. First order. Put the little symbol in there and everything. Next one I want to talk about that I can't skip that. I have to say this one.
You have to say this one. Okay.
I have to.
Say it with your whole chest.
Have to. Say it with your chest. Oh wait, I can actually put my coat back on.
Let me put my coat back on so I can see.
So on page 70, turn to page 76. It says that rumor of him throwing a petri dish against a wall because his experiment hadn't worked out, or because the electron microscope needed repairs, or because something equally had happened. Hello, science lab. That's the SNL skit. Him throwing a petri dish? You stupid kids! Boom! Allie girl, I see you!
But also just the idea of him getting mad, I love it. I love him being mad and throwing stuff and being angry.
And just like throwing shit around, like lab equipment. To, like, get
millions of dollars is going into this.
Exactly! There's a little Flip Zimmerman nod as well.
Donde where?
He was wearing a red plaid shirt and jeans. That's flip. Flippity flip. Also, he was a runner. Yes. Have you seen the Burberry ads? Him going to Juilliard? I'm just saying.
Running out anywhere between 8 to 24 miles a day.
Exactly.
We don't know how much, to be certain.
We don't know. The range could be anything from this and that.
If we ever get to ask him, we will ask him. And we will tell you, Rats.
So what was the exact distance that you ran? We need to know.
It's either reasonable for a runner or psychotic. Tell us.
Which are you, Adam?
Probably leaning psychotic, if I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I think so too. On page 88, it says he'd make for an excellent viral meme. That's because he already is. Good soup! And also Adam sipping from the cup, like his coffee cup in the House of Gucci promos, where he's like, and that went viral too. On page 93, it just says, takes one to know one. And in my mind, I was like, touche, pussycat.
Love.
The beginning of chapter 6, there's like always hypotheses. This particular one says, when compared with multiple types and models of furniture, fridge, Adam Carlsen's lap will be rated in the top 5th percentile for comfort, coziness, and enjoyment. Like a fridge.
I also made a meme one time where it was like my favorite chair, and it goes from 1 to 12, and then on number 13, it's Adam sitting down.
Yes, I know exactly.
I posted that last year, I think, and I was like,
Yep. Things I want to sit on.
Oh, I also did this meme. I had Sleep Token Chokehold in the background, and it's like me sitting on this man's lap would cure my depression. And it was, and then it's like, you got me now, playing in the background. It's like, yeah!
Dude. Yes. There's one, page 106. For some reason, Olive couldn't help staring at Adam Carlsen's uncovered skin like it was a slab of Italian marble, and then it just cuts off. Channing Tatum said it first.
These things, yeah, just carved out of marble.
Yeah.
Look, it's like you're carved out of marble. I feel like Ali, this is such like a testament to her love for the rats, like the rat community and just Adam in general. Like there's so many Adam references. Oh, it's just so perfect.
Not only is it obviously a Raylo inspired, Raylo coded fan fiction, but it is a love letter, and it pretty much a complete understanding. I feel like it's just spelled out for you. It's like, you want to know why we're attracted to this man? Read this book. Read it.
Yeah, read it and you'll understand.
Everything is spelled out for you.
Yeah. My note, like right under that, it says every rat knows the mouth thing. Because it's like Adam who did his mouth twitch thing back at her. And like everybody knows what Ali means with that. Like the mouth twitch, the...
Oh, the thing. I love when he's done speaking and he'll just be like, oh yeah, what...
Yeah.
I love those. I don't see any really people do that besides Adam. Like you have these mouth movements after you're done talking.
Just like when he's like either getting cut off or like he wants to say something, but then he thinks better of it and he just goes.
Yeah.
That mouth thing. Everybody knows.
You saw that picture that Adam Driver Central posted, right?
The one with the museum? Yes! Yes.
Literally this face, you guys.
That. Yeah. Yeah. And then, like, that's also, like, the lip thing. He does this a lot, like, you know, like, his lower lip. Like,
just stuffing your tongue into your lower lip.
Yeah. On page 110, there's a Charlie Barber move. That's, like, it screams Charlie Barber. He lifted his fingers to his lips, then let his arm drop to his side. That's the scene where he's crying in his lawyer's office. And he just, like, kind of goes, and he's crying, and then he, like, just lets everything drop. That's the scene I had in mind when I was reading that. Yeah, that's what I got from that. That's Charlie Barber. Olive texting him, did you just fail Greg? Like, that was the first time she ever texted him. And then the next sentence is, Adam was never on his phone. That is so Adam Driver coded. Yeah. Like, he's, you know, I mean, yes, he has a phone, but he always says he doesn't like being on his phone, especially on set, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're robbing people of their time, which makes a lot of sense.
Valid.
Yeah. Like, if you're alone, you can, you know, be on your phone. That's totally fine. But if you're, like, in a social convention, a social setting, you know, or having conversation with people, it's kind of rude to bring out your phone and just, like, you know, unless it's like, oh, let me check something real quick to show you. That's, you know, that's different.
Those pictures at the museum, though, you can tell that he's, like, just, like, a sometimes phone user just by how he's using it. Because he's holding the phone with one hand and he's doing this.
Yep.
Instead of with those massive thumbs of his that go anywhere on the phone that he wants. Hello. There he is. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
He's just like doing the boomer thing. He's not even a damn boomer.
Not even a damn boomer.
Okay, quickly, Adam leg appreciation.
That's from Tracks.
It is. Look at them shorty shorts. Who wears shorts?
Then him texting, he should value guidance, not be upset by it. Again, that's the mindset, you know. Olive, well, fuck you, Adam, and I put when? Question mark. Did he have shoulder enhancement surgery? I don't think shoulders like that exist in nature. I mean, yeah. And then the next one, it says, why didn't you say that he was shredded? And it's in cursive. So, of course, that's the nod to Kylo Ren is shredded.
That Kylo Ren has an 8-pack that he's shredded.
And then just like he had a lot of small moles and freckles, you know.
Oh my god. And then she was like, I wonder if he would hate it if I played Connect the Dots with his mom.
Yeah. There's a couple of Sackler moments too. On page 138, it says, why are you sitting in the dark like a creep? It's like so Sackler coded when he like texts or calls Natalia. I'll be sitting there like a creep.
So I'll be looking at you like a creep.
Or then he can't stand chocolate. Chocolate's disgusting, like sugar and food coloring. I was like, that's so Sackler coded. Like ice cream is sweet mucus.
What?
I don't do ice cream. It's like sweet mucus.
Oh, yes. Oh, this part here that like she's like He's like, he grabbed something from the cushion and held out to Olive. Here, you can have the rest of my chips. Olive narrowed her eyes. You? Me? You stole my chips. His mouth curved. Sorry. You can have what's left. Just a little smirky, like he knows that he's a little fucker.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Also, the salt and vinegar chips, like, that's very Daisy coded. Because she's British. Mm-hmm.
Salt and vinegar?
Mm-hmm. Like, fish and chips, like, they put vinegar. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing. I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing that's what that could be an Easter egg.
Her favorite kind of crisp, salt and vinegar.
Another Black Klansman reference. It's more the SAG-AFTRA interview reference. Well, it just says undecided. That just made me think of that interview where J.D. Washington was like, yeah, we're best friends. And he's like, we're not best friends. And then later he goes, it's undecided.
Yeah.
We are best friends, yes.
We're not best friends. No, it's undecided. We're very good friends.
We're best friends.
No, we're best friends.
We are.
And that's why I was like, he definitely would say something like that. There's just like little Ray references too, like on page 145 where it says, I was just ... alone. That cool baby. And then 160, Olive had been no one. That is Ray. Like, that's Ray.
Yeah. You're nobody in this story. You're no one. You're nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody. Oh yeah, and you probably don't like ice cream anyway, sweet mucus. And then, of course, a direct Star Wars reference on page 181. Well, he'd even complimented her Star Wars t-shirt and then proceeded to hum Darth Vader theme under his breath.
I love.
Yes, that's what we were talking about earlier, how the head canon started, that Poe and Ben had been back. Yeah. So he grew up all over the place, and so did I. Since our parents worked together, diplomats, the worst kind of people, but then our family settled in D.C., so, you know, alludes to that, too. What else? Oh, my God. Okay, this quote has nothing to do, I don't think, with either Daisy or Adam or Star Wars, but it just says, carry yourself with the confidence of a mediocre white man. Oh, like, yes! I love that so much. Because, like, she was having self-doubts, you know, and then her mentor said, sweetie, carry yourself with the confidence of a mediocre white man, because it's so fitting. Yeah, there's another, like, description of Adam that fits Driver really well. You seem like you like to keep others at arm's length, uncompromising and ever so hard to know. You seem like you care very little about what people think of you. You seem like you know what you're doing. And I feel like that describes Adam Driver really, really well. Mm-hmm. You know, he always seems like so collected and like he knows what he's doing. Even though he probably doesn't. Like, he's just like going with the flow, but it seems like he is, you know. And he's like an enigma. You never know.
He really has it together. Right.
Yeah, so it's inspiring. I wrote exactly what I find fascinating about him too. Olive had never been a people pleaser, but Adam's attitude towards others' perception of him was so cavalier, it was almost fascinating. And that is so true. Like, he just carries himself like he doesn't really care what other people think. And I'm sure he does, but I don't think he lets that warp his perception of himself or what he does, you know, just because like some people might not think he's attractive or whatever. That's not going to stop him from doing what he loves. You know, that's not going to stop him from whatever he wants to do, you know, or talking to people or, so that's nice.
And that really reflects on a lot of things he said in that Burberry Hero interview too. So you can't worry about being attractive. You can't worry about this and that. You just have to just do it. Yeah.
Okay, and on page 217, it says Olive had felt that he was on her side over and over, and in ways that she could never have anticipated. He had made her feel unjudged and less alone. That is so Kylo and Rey. That is like, you know, it was Kylo that nurtured her and not Luke, who was supposed to be the one nurturing her. Like, that dynamic is just like, I love that parallel. You know, like, yes, he always, like, Kylo always made, or, like, he was always on Rey's side. Like, no matter if they were, like, fighting each other or whatever, like, he was inherently on her side. Like, he was there for her. Even though they were, like, you know, in direct combat with each other, it's still, like, his purpose was
because
always
they felt like they had to. You know, they had that disagreement, but it doesn't mean that they didn't have those feelings and protectiveness of each other.
Exactly. Yeah. And, like, the fact that Olive views him as that is, like, so, like, sweet. And, like, just a testament to him as a person. Like, he is her rock, you know? She kind of brings things out of him, like, you know, takes him out of his comfort zone. you know, also influences his perception or like his view of the world in a more positive way, I guess, you know.
Right.
But like she's very bubbly and with a lot of self-doubt, and he just kind of like relaxes her and grounds her.
And then she allows him to open up.
Yeah. He has a scar above his eyebrow. Did you catch that? Yeah, you got that, yeah.
I did.
Page 287. For everybody, I keep saying the pages, and like if people listen and they have the book in front of them, they can like kind of follow along. Anyway, that would be a useful poster. She brushed her finger against his forehead. What's this from? The little scar, the one above your eyebrow. Just a stupid fight. There's two things in there. First of all, of course, Kylo. But then also, stupid fight. Was that like from Fight Club as a kid?
Just him and Holden just going at it.
Yeah. We started a fight club together.
So you won't even admit it. He's like, just a fight. We ain't gonna tell her about that.
There's on page 291. Yeah, 91.
291. Okay.
921. It's the beginning of chapter 18. The hypothesis is a heart will break even more easily than the weakest of hydrogen bonds. I feel like for a scientist, that's like so beautiful. It's like so sweet.
Hydrogen bonds are so easily breakable.
Oh! I don't know if this was intentional on Allie's part, but I was like, Gucci on 315. It says, "At all, you're such an idiot, but a very lovable idiot, and my idiot." That is like so Gucci.
You're my idiot.
An idiot, but you're my idiot.
I'm an idiot. You're my idiot.
Oh, this is a big one. On page 332, your birthday is April 10th. That's Daisy Ridley's actual birthday.
Aww. It's coming up then.
Yes! Oh, so sweet. Because, like, when I read that, I was like, I know she's an April baby, but I didn't, like, know the exact day, so I Googled it, and yeah, it's her actual birthday. Because reading it, I was like, that's so specific. Why is that in there? And we all know Allie puts a lot of Easter eggs in there, so I was like, I know Daisy's an April baby. Let me check. Yeah, it's like her actual birthday. Yeah, and then of course chapter 22 on page 338. He was voted most likely to make people cry in his senior yearbook because he did in Juilliard. Yoga mat incident comes to mind.
Get your ass sweat off my yoga mat.
How would you say that in a nice way? Get your ass sweat off my yoga mat, please.
I mean, he said please. No.
He said please.
He said please.
Yeah, so I did skip a couple of the Easter eggs that, like, were just, like, little notes for myself. But, like, the major Easter eggs and stuff and references I did mention. But, yeah. So, as you can see, like, this is full of beautiful little rat or Star Wars or, you know, Reylo references. And well done, Allie. Round of applause.
We can't wait to read more.
Yes. So, do we give this book the good books, great driver stamp of approval?
Yes.
So yeah, this is really good. Again, it's like an easy read. It's a rom-com, you know, so it's funny, but there's a lot of love scene or you know, there's one sex scene. Is there one or two?
Well, it's like a mega sex scene. So it's like they have their intimate moment and then they take a little breaky poo and then they have another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like on two separate occasions. It's just like one very long. Yeah. That stretches over multiple days.
So the convention is a few days, but
that's right. Yeah.
They spend one whole night together.
Right. Yeah.
I would say it's Reylo inspired. It's definitely Reylo inspired because we know it's lore.
Yeah.
It was a fan fiction first. It's not fantasy. It comes from elements of fantasy. So it's not Reylo in that it's fantasy, but it's Reylo in the relationship, the dynamic, the struggle with why they're dynamic. Because, you know, Kylo was in the dark, Rey was in the light. That struggle between the light and the dark, that was the Star Wars struggle. This struggle was the struggle of having attractiveness without feeling like you should, which is what Kylo and Rey had, but it's just in a different dynamic, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, quality, 10 out of 10. Reylo inspired, 10 out of 10. I would say 10 out of 10 unless you want to count the fact that it's not fantasy, but I don't think that's a big deal.
No, that's not a big, no, not at all. Yeah. So, it's approved, we like it, and we suggest reading it, because it's really good. And, like, I feel like this book is also, like, even if you're not a Reylo, even if you're not attracted to Adam Driver, or Daisy Ridley or whatever, I still feel like objectively speaking, it's still a good book.
Yes.
Like, for non-rats, this is still a really good book. So,
I mean, it may convert people. Like, if you read it, you're
maybe,
like, oh, let's see what this is about. And then by the end of the book, you're like, damn, I think I like this Adam Driver dude.
Yeah. I saw, like, a lot of people online. They were, like, outraged when there was, like, fan casting with Adam Driver. And they were like, what? No, absolutely not. And everyone's like, hello, this book is literally based off of Adam Driver. Why would you cast anybody else?
His name is literally Adam. It is described as him to a T physically and personality. Like, who else would it be?
Yeah, exactly.
People are in denial because these are people that have this probably stigma that they're like, well, Adam Driver isn't conventionally attractive, so I shouldn't be attracted to him. So they hold this thing against them, but then they are attracted to him, so they feel weird about it. So they say things like that.
Yeah. I had a little discussion with somebody. I'm not going to say who, because if they see this, you know, could be even more conflicting. But I had a disagreement with somebody in my close circle. They basically said, oh, he's so ugly and blah, blah, blah. And, like, was so rude about it. And, like, it felt like he was trying to, like, get to me. Mm-hmm. But that part didn't even bother me. It was, like, it didn't even bother me that he was saying that about Adam. It was more that he was saying that about a person, a human being in general.
Right.
You know, like, so ugly and, like, oh, he's so aggressive. And then I saw a post later that night saying, basically men, this was a guy, men that openly say, oh, this man is ugly and I don't like him, I hate him, blah, 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 there's so much resentment towards him, is because they find him attractive or desirable in some way. And that's why this resentment exists, because they either want to be that person or they want to fuck that person, be with that person. Mm-hmm. So, like, I mean, if you as a guy have so much resentment towards any other guy, maybe you should look at yourself and wonder why. Either you're really attracted to the person or you idolize the person subconsciously. Because, like, there's no reason for you to hate somebody you don't know.
I think it's also like maybe they aren't attractive. And so then the fact that Adam isn't conventionally attractive, that he's being desired, that they find that unfair. And so then they probably are conflicted with that. They're like, well, this unattractive guy gets all of this attention. Where the fuck is my attention? Why him and not me? And, you know, having that kind of mindset is probably why, along with other things.
Yeah. Your masculinity is so fragile then.
It's more fragile than hydrogen bonds.
Oh! Oh!
Pow! Pow!
Oh, I love you.
I'm busy!
Oh, yes. Also, by the way, just really quickly, I forgot to mention, it's like resentment, hate towards somebody without reason. Like, without them saying, oh, because he said this, because he's racist, because whatever. It's people that are, you know, hateful towards other people without a specific reason, you know?
Right.
Because, like, you say, oh, Trump fucking sucks, that's valid because he is a shit person, you know? And not because you have no other...
I'd like to see what people come up with to try to talk crap about Adam, about him, because there's literally nothing.
Yeah. I mean, a few years ago, people, like, they want to hate him so much because he's getting so much attention and is viewed as someone so desirable.
Yeah.
With, you know, that they don't understand why, because the beauty standard is, you know, Chris fucking Hemsworth or whatever. And, sorry, I didn't mean to say it so mean. I guess he's gorgeous, of course, but he's just not my cup of tea. But yeah, so, like, people that, you know, they just want to hate Adam, and they can't, because, like, there's no reason to. He's a genuinely good person, he is attractive, and he's successful. So, of course, you know, people want to nitpick. And that's why, like, a few years ago, people are like, he's Islamophobic. Huh? What?
Where?
Get that. Just because he was in the Marines, really? Then every single soldier would be... Yeah, that doesn't
means
mean
nothing.
Anything.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, the whole thing about, like, people were up in arms when he walked out of an NPR interview because they were making him watch his own work. Because back then he didn't. He admitted recently now he will because he wants to enjoy the work, enjoy the piece that he was a part of. So at this point, he can separate himself. But back then, he just couldn't do that. And so they were going to make him watch a clip of his work. And he was like, no, I'm not fucking doing that. And another interviewer asked a weird question. He's like, fuck you, next question. And people were like, he said, fuck you to this person. I was like, yeah, but they asked a stupid question. Adam's not going to be like, oh, he's going to be like, no.
Yeah, no, it wasn't just a stupid question. He was being insulting. Like, he insulted the movie, the project that Adam was a part of.
Yeah.
So his reaction was perfectly fine. Like, why would he let anybody else trample all over him? Like, how dare he speak to another human being like that?
It was Ferrari, right?
Yeah, because he insulted the fact that, oh, the crashes were not believable enough. It was bad CGI, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, so how do you feel about that? And he's like, nothing, fuck you. Next question. Like, yeah, he has every right to not answer that question and react the way he did.
He is so passionate about the movies. Like, he's literally like, it's a miracle that any movie gets done.
Yeah, exactly. And he's not going to let people treat him badly. He's not going to let people disrespect him, you know, in private or in public, which that is so valid. That's something we can learn from. Don't people please. You know, if you're uncomfortable, say it. And put people in their place when they're out of line. That's what he was doing. I'm on his side in that, for sure.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that he's done besides insult Halloween that I could ever hate. But I can forgive him for that because I know it's not for everyone. It's just my Christmas. That's, you know, it's my Christmas. We're cosplayers. It's literally our Christmas.
Exactly.
So, yes, we fully recommend reading Love Hypothesis. I feel like I've been late to the game. I read it for the first time, and, you know, you're kind of like, stupid, because I've been a fan of Adam for so long, and it's like, why wouldn't I pick up a damn book that the love interest is him? And the fact that there's so many of them out there, I'm just like, yes, shower me with all of it. So that's why I'm so excited to be doing this little bookie club.
Yes. I'm a huge book nerd anyway, so I'm excited. The next book that we will be reading is The Hurricane Wars by Thea Gonzon. Or Guanzon. There we go. Yay!
Yay! So this one will definitely probably be a lot more fantasy based.
Yeah.
Which will be a nice, not change, but, you know, not everything modern, you know.
Yeah.
It's such a pretty book. I love this.
Yeah, that is gorgeous. Mine's like pretty plain.
Oh, I just ordered mine from Amazon and this is how it came. I didn't know it was going to come with the pretty moons on it. Total eclipse of the heart.
So.
What an episode.
What an episode. That was long.
It was long. Yeah, and sometimes we'll post things either on Patreon or on the socials if it's stuff that we've cut that we still think should be put online. So just, you know, keep your eyes open for any of those kind of clippies. Okay, so where you can find us, we're on TikTok and Instagram at Good Soup Great Driver, and we upload every other week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. I am on TikTok at What's Up Shannon, and Instagram I'm Starry Eyes, StarrYyeyes. Your turn.
So, you can find me on Instagram and on TikTok at I've Always Been Solo, BENSOLO. Thank you.
Thank you, rats. I hope you've been fed, because I know I have.
Thanks for watching and listening. 'Twas fun.
'Twas very fun.
All right, now we're going to go on a coffee date now, so adios.
Pumpkin spice.
Black coffee, no milk, no sugar. Ooh, no.
What a way to end it.
Yeah. All right, bye.
Bye.
If you survived this episode, please go follow us on our socials that we mentioned, and give us a follow on YouTube and Spotify so you are notified when we post. Stay fed, rats. Great driver.